and 5.
Happy New Year's, Star Citizens, and welcome to Answer the Call, your weekly Star Citizen podcast hosted by myself and SaltEMike as we get your opinions about everything and anything Star Citizen related. How were your holidays, Mike?
Good. Just little short trips to visit family and some people coming our way and ate good food and just hung out. How about you? We obviously missed you last week, so we did a little PvP podcast, but you were in chat. You were there in spirit.
Yeah, I was watching in my bed, very lonely, but it was great. It was a good episode. Yeah, had a good time. Had some time with family, as we we're talking just before the stream. Lots of astronomy time, which has sort of like reinvigorated a lot of that passion in me recently. So it was very cool. But now we're back into actual Star Citizen and actually visiting the stars in the video game, or not visiting them as much as I was hoping I would after the holidays.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's been, it has gradually gotten worse and worse and worse. This was my weekend review, which I expected to be 10 out of 10, which 10 out of 10 is a bad thing on YouTube. Was a 1 out of 10, has 50,000 views, and I think it's because the title and thumbnail was like, you know, the cracks are starting to show, and that's really what is happening, right? Whatever cracks are there appear to be getting a little bit bigger and starting to show, and nobody was really around to fix them. So
that's the big thing, right?
That's what happens. That's why everybody was kind of very nervous about them shipping this and then going on holiday, and this is the result of it. I think we got a good maybe about a week before this started to happen, so I guess I'll take it. I'm not looking at it too negatively, but it has been pain the last week to play the game. I was locked out completely yesterday.
Oh, rough. Did you get, because I know that they posted the thing today about they were able to unlock like a bunch of people's accounts.
That happened.
One of them, or?
No, that happened after. I got my first 60. I never got a 60K when people were locked out. I got my 60K after they fixed everyone.
Rip, Mike.
So I don't know why I was so special, and then it flipped on me, but I got flipped. But I was able to play today. So
yeah. I was gonna say today I did actually have an okay experience. It's probably the first good experience I've had since coming back from holidays. And then it ended with terrible experiences. Like, we were able to do missions. They were working okay-ish. Like they were working enough that like I could play it for hours,
do
and
some,
be okay, and be enjoying it. And then at the very end, it looked like it was a client-only thing because the other people I was with were fine. Just all my actions were getting delayed and held, and I couldn't do anything. And I was getting thrown to the ground, and then getting stuck on the ground, and then my gun was getting thrown, and then back in my hands, and then thrown. And then I would throw a grenade, but actually I throw my gun, and like everything broke just randomly on this one mission. So
been there.
It was rough.
Been there. Yeah, so that's just generally what it's been. I guess we'll talk about this somewhat briefly too. I don't know how much you know about it, but the exploiting going on now is kind of demotivating for me personally in the game, and others I've noticed. And so that's going on where like literally every single item in the game, as far as I'm aware, can be duped now. There's no, like, literally everything. Armor, weapons, contested zone keys, commodities, everything. Like, this is the worst duping situation I've ever seen in the game. Ever.
Do you think it'll result in a wipe?
I don't. It didn't result in a wipe the last time. That's a lot of what people are thinking should happen. I don't believe it should. I will say this for the people who watched my React video. I cut the recording off right before Winter, who works on the player experience team, popped in chat and said, people who are doing these exploits, literally called them exploits, will be fast-tracked to having something like it was like you will be reprimanded, basically. And I was like, okay, so that, you know, it is as serious as I assumed it was. A lot of people are calling it weapon insurance, and I'm paying for it, therefore it's fine. It's like exponentially duping items within minutes is not. It's not a it's not a gameplay mechanic. Like, what are we talking here?
Insurance is a scam, therefore. Anyway.
Yeah. So we'll just touch on that for just a few seconds. It's obviously not a good thing. It's obviously an exploit. DJ is the one who is marked to fix it. He said in chat today, and he called it a bug.
Guaranteed to fix. Let's go.
Yeah, so he called it a bug as well. So for anybody who thinks that these things are intentional, they are not. The last thing that I will say, though, is instead of looking at the people duping and calling them X, Y, Z, saying they should be banned and all these other things, let's look at why they're doing it. The reason they're doing it is because loading weapons onto your ship every single time it explodes from a bug or every single time period is not him specifically, but his team, he just said in chat. But all those things are kind of a pain in the ass to do, and people like the mechanic of whatever. I actually have never duped it, so I don't know how, but I think it's involving like claiming or something like that. So or repairing or something. So since those systems are quite smooth to work with, your ship has everything you want on it ready to go. And my only suggestion was this. I understand why people are doing it outside of the ones who are being malicious and literally duping items and money and things like that. Why not have most stations and major city locations have most of the weapons, ship components and things like that at them that you would, basic stock standard kind of stuff. And if those are available at those stations for purchase, whenever you do what you do to set up your ship, you just pay for them, and then they automatically are part of the process of your ship coming up from under the hangar. I would be totally fine with that, because everyone's saying because I pay for it, it's okay. The issue is that you're paying for something that isn't for sale anywhere else in the game, right? You would have to go to a contested zone or whatever. So the other thing on that is if it's in my inventory, maybe the hangar should automatically do that. So then you can go farm things that are not for sale and set them up on your ship. Like, I'm looking at the why they're doing it and saying, yeah, I get it. I get why, the friction in the game is really annoying. And I hope CIG listens from that standpoint. Why are players doing this? Ooh, maybe we need to come up with a system like that so players are able to load their ships up as well. Also, people keep calling out the CitizenCon Tier 3 insurance or whatever. I will stand on that hill and die on it. I think it's fucking stupid and should never exist. But yeah. So that's all I have to say about it. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add, but I need to get that off my chest.
Not so much.
I posted a React video and got a lot of hate for it. So, and I was like, maybe they just don't understand, or they're just stupid.
I don't know much about the exploit itself, but it sounds like that it's more of a exploitive convenience rather than in some cases at least, an exploitive convenience rather than an exploit of like.
Correct.
I just want to be the richest person in Star Citizen, which like are always the
or I want 500 railguns.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like the ones that are like you're just cheating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you're doing it for convenience, I get it. I totally get it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but yeah.
It's wrong, but you're presenting a problem that needs to be fixed.
Correct.
Right? It's like it's not just the exploit that's the issue. It's the reason that they're doing
Nothing is black and white.
Yeah.
Right? You got to look at the whole situation, but that's all I got on that. Let's move on.
So yeah, other than that, I didn't really know much about. Like the only things that I had really seen happening this week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever, is that there are still some CIG devs who have just been working this whole time, which is crazy. You guys are wild. Like, thank you, but like, fucking go take a day off. What the hell?
Well, I mean, the only people that we've seen are, I think, Balt, who's like, a lead type person, that's a little crazy to me. Ahmed is less crazy. Just knowing my brother works in software dev that's like a live thing.
Yeah.
And everybody has their week that they are on call. And it could have just been Ahmed's week that I'm on call when things fall apart. It's on me. That's just how it is. So I don't know if Balt had one day or whatever, but so I think that's what's happening there. And people are making it out to be different maybe than what it is. That's my assumption though. But
Possibly.
I put in weekend review as well. Is I actually worked with Ahmed's friend, apparently, like they were friends from high school. And he told me that at their wedding, this was many, many years ago when Star Citizen was in like 2.0.
Oh, sure.
Like at his wedding, he was like remoting into his computer and fixing issues. Like he just is one of those types, you know, and that's it. So
yeah,
it could be either way.
Yeah. But with that in mind, most of the officers should be coming back like
Monday.
My timeline, like tomorrow, or next week. So I expect that we'll hear some communication from the teams about 4.0, everything else, start to get back on track with that sort of stuff. Which
I
is
should
good,
mention
to hear some stuff.
4.0.1 on PTU next week, apparently. And there was the hotfix that you mentioned. And yeah, so definitely things. So they're already talking. We'll see what happens next week. But already a planned 4.0.1. So
yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, with all of the news out of the way, we should get into our big topic, as it is the start of the year. What the hell is going on this year? What are we going to see? What do we think we're going to see? Last year was a big year for a couple of reasons, a small year for some other reasons, an interesting year for other reasons. A tough year for many reasons. And yeah, that's what the episode's about today. So we're going to do some of our predictions. We're going to go through each quarter, sort of what we're expecting, what we're hoping for. And while we're doing that, make sure you guys get into the green room so you can call
it's
in and
already
let us know
full.
your stuff. True.
It's already full. So we might be able to get one Lightsmith in, but that's hold on. Yeah, because some people are popping in and out. Yep. I don't know if Lightsmith was in a different order, but yeah.
Possibly.
And popped out and came back. But the Q1. Let's start out with Q1. Yeah. What do we think? I think the Q1's the easy one. After that, it gets really, really hard. We don't have Jared doing the dumbest thing you could possibly do like he did last year and say, this is what's coming all of next year, and then almost half of that not coming. So we don't have the list. So now we have to make our own. And we are going to be way more wrong than Jared. So this should be fun.
So I guess I'll start. I think off the bat, I imagine at some point during Q1, likely within the next month or two, they'll ditch 320. What is it? 324.
Yep.
Whatever. We'll get ditched. 4.0 will be the patch to play in live. And yeah, I actually expect that to happen pretty soon for the most part. I think we'll get it sometime in February.
Do you think any additional things come into this 4.0 dot whatever will be live?
I think there could be some things. I don't expect there to be things.
Okay.
Necessarily, but I do think we could see a few things. For example, the new FPS weapons that we did not get for 4.0 live. I think
that would be interesting.
Could inch their way in maybe
in Q1 sometime. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know in the live 4.0.
I think they could. I think they could. They're the sort of like new guns are kind of the. Like, we know the guns worked. It's more just like a case of like, if they want to balance it, where do they want them to be in the verse? So it's likely all of those sort of decisions that they need to make in that time.
And the FPS experience has been probably one of the highlights of 4.0.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. The contested zones and the FPS missions all being fun. It'd be a good sort of addition to a very small, like a 0.01 patch, right?
Yeah.
So I think we could see that, but yeah, it's got to be soon. Like the patch felt close at the end of last year, not ready, but close. So I've got to imagine the dropping 324 is going to be pretty soon.
Yeah. For me, I think the obvious Q1 would be engineering gameplay.
If we want to talk about like, the big patch. like our Q1 big patch, which probably won't be in Q1. Is probably the first
Okay.
caveat.
Okay, yeah. Maybe we start if I have anything else to add to 4.0 before we go there. Sorry, I was skipping ahead, I guess. I don't think anything really changes. I think we actually
Mhm.
we'll just see a lot more new, like not new, but old missions and some new ones that
Yep.
were in the PTU and were taken out. So I think we'll
Sure.
see a lot more missions come online and
Mhm.
maybe function normally as well.
Yep.
And that's really it. Maybe this would be very cool also is more ships added to the pool at the end of the contested zone, perhaps would be a nice
Yes,
change
that'd be
as
cool.
well, because there's only
Yep.
5. And that would be nice to have more added to that list.
Mhm.
And any holidays around that time in February? I mean, like
Valentine's, but
just
usually it's just some
Valentine's.
skins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think
So
so.
we'll see some skins for who knows what. Like
Yeah.
it's sort of always a toss in the air about what we'll actually get for those.
Yeah.
But I think that's about it for
Yeah.
that.
And then I guess the next thing we would do is I think we should talk a little bit about this too. Is
Mhm.
when are we going to start seeing ISC? When are we going to start seeing SCL?
Mm.
They always do this planning month garbage where it is what they need to do as a company, but it really hurts us as the momentum just dies at the beginning of every year. And they were
Yep.
so good last year once they got going. Do you think they'll get going faster this year, knowing that honestly, in the dead patch moments, ISC carried last year and a little bit of
Yes, it
SCL.
did.
Yeah, are they going to do that?
So I'm doing a check. So the first ISC of 2024 was February 2nd.
Yeah,
So yeah, the whole month of January we didn't get a single one.
but ISC changed entirely last year. Do you think like I feel like they
Yeah.
don't need to change the format this time around. I think they got it. So if they got it,
Mm.
are they going to get to it faster?
Maybe because
I
like
hope
there's
so.
also there's also like there's similar to what happened at like the end of last year with ISC. There's stuff that they can like go back to again because we haven't seen it yet with engineering, with fire and all this other stuff, right?
With getting 4.0 to where it needs to be. It
Yeah.
can even be contested zone devs. Like the devs that
Mhm.
brought the stuff online in 4.0 can come
Yep.
on to the videos and go, this is how we saw you playing. This is how we are going to react to your feedback.
Yeah.
Like those would be great. I mean, those are good SCLs as well, but
Yep.
yeah, it could go either way, but those like either show. But those that's
Mhm.
what I would like to see personally is I think I saw a lot of really excited developers from at least the
Mhm.
ones that deliver stuff that they were really happy with seeing people enjoy it while we could enjoy it, right? And then
Yeah.
obviously Elliot just seemed to me he just felt like stressed like
Yep.
because it was just nothing was working and like normally he's like the most happy-go-lucky and
Mm.
I just didn't get that vibe from him as much towards the end of the year, which is totally understandable because literally that's what held back the patch from going live.
Yeah.
Is what was said in the letter for the chairman, right?
But yeah, to sort of go for it, I guess I still probably don't expect ISCs to start back up until February.
Yeah.
It still takes a couple of months just for him to get back into the. It's not a couple of months, a couple of weeks, for them to get back into the route of things. Plus, a lot of the recordings and whatnot, I imagine for like most ISCs, probably take a few weeks to actually like start to get going, right?
Yeah.
And then there's what is it? Like they develop each episode, whatever, simultaneously as they go on. So. I wouldn't be surprised if we still are waiting until like last week of January or first week of Feb before we see some ISC stuff. But as long as we still get like some like Patchwatch-esque posts or like I think they could do an SCL about the launch of the patch or
Yeah. You don't need to
or something
plan
like
for an
that.
SCL. Like you don't
Well, you
need
do,
to.
but it's significantly less planning than something like an ISC.
Exactly. So you just got to get the personnel to sit down and just talk about what they're doing, you know?
Exactly, yeah. So I'd like to see that. And regardless, I would like to see them once they do restart, continue how they were working last year.
Yep.
Even if that does mean, once again, you get a couple more episodes that most people aren't into. I'll be into them, or someone will be into them, and it's nice just to have that consistent communication. That at least in that form, like ISE and SCL is very unique, I feel, amongst most game devs, where it's like you don't get that style of communication from most games, and so when it's consistent, feels great.
Yeah.
So,
and last year was great. There was obviously bumps, but they were nowhere near as bumpy as previous years, and I think they got it down. All right, Q1 patch. So like March, April,
AKA
May,
Q2
June, July, somewhere in there, somewhere in that range. Where's that going to be?
The patch that will be in PTU in Q1, realistically.
Yeah, but the end of Q1, like the last day of it. Yeah. So I said engineering. I think that's the obvious one.
Yeah. So engineering, fire,
the
fire. Transport refactor.
Ooh, maybe. Hopefully.
Maybe. I imagine it's a big task, but it's I imagine these first few weeks they're probably going to be talking about trying to make sure that gets into the first patch.
Yeah.
What else got pulled? Like, it was mostly engineering. There was like the engineering missions, which is still engineering. There was
engineering missions.
What am I missing?
Charge and drain, which part of engineering.
Yeah, exactly. So most of like that system will probably come online in a PTU in Q1, and then like be the major patch for Q1. I do wonder though. So like one reason why before the show I brought up the letter from the chairman is they were talking about, we're going to try this new, and this will be for this whole year.
Good.
They're going to try this new PTU, like this new ePTU thing, where we are testing a feature, but like it might not come out for multiple patches.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think engineering will be one of those features. It could be the first one though.
I think it is the first one. Yeah, I think it 100% is one of those, like, let's test and make sure it doesn't screw anything up too bad, and get in the way of things. But yeah, we should be seeing things a lot earlier in these previews as well, which is going to be, I guess that's one thing that we should really touch on this year is we got to hold them to this. This is what they need to do, because we're seeing the result of them not doing it the entire year last year. This is what we need. We need to see things like even transit refactor stuff, like even tech stuff, to just get it in our hands, find all the crazy issues and things like that. Like, it worked well enough for meshing. Meshing was exciting. Will a transit refactor test preview be exciting? No.
So exciting, Max. So exciting.
So hopefully it comes with something additional that's also exciting, because you gotta
something that makes people actually.
You gotta drive us to want to get in, right? It was very exciting to see that many people in a server meshed environment. But yeah, that's a huge change. Now, we talked about what we do know for sure to be in. I did the intro. I'm good. We also do know what, like, okay, the engine, those, we stated the obvious. What are the things that we would like to see in a Q1 patch?
I see, that's the problem. Like, I'm so hyper fixated on engineering that it's just like, just give me all the engineering stuff.
You mentioned the FPS weapons.
That is a big patch.
Like,
I did, So
I think those
I would
be
like
there.
to see the FPS weapons, maybe, like, we didn't get a great view of how far along it is, but all the new armor, like,
I was hoping you'd
subtypes,
say,
or whatever you want to call them.
If you didn't, I was going there. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we got to see those at the end of last year. We know what they want them to be in concept. They've done like a lot of the art for all of these ones. The question is really like, what do they actually do for us, and how do they interact? And we don't really know how far along that is.
Yep.
That could be a Q1, but honestly, I was going to put that as my my Q2.
Oh, is you going to be your Q2? That's in my Q1. Reason being of exactly what you said. All the art appears to be done with a lot of those, plus all the art is already done for all of the ones that are already in the game. There is a huge piece of the puzzle missing, though, and that is UI and these
Mm.
the helmets
Yeah,
and these different
the unique helmets, the
yeah.
non-combat helmets. Yeah.
Is that what's holding them back? Potentially.
Could be.
I hope not, but potentially. And after that, it's just this much damage mitigation, this much, stamina, this, and all that stuff. It's just numbers
It's
at that point.
balancing.
Yeah.
And
And they
one of
don't
the big
have to get it
advantages,
right. They don't have to get it
yeah,
right the
true,
first time. You
true.
just got to get it in.
One of the big advantages with them adding anything to FPS gameplay right now is in terms of balancing like game wide. It's probably the most balanced mechanic. That doesn't necessarily mean it is balanced. There is a meta, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But like in terms of will everything change to completely throw it away? No, right? This is not the introduction of engineering completely changing ship gameplay. This isn't the introduction of material quality completely changing like mining gameplay and stuff. This is like still similar-ish stuff and just being added on. So yeah. I don't think that would necessarily take them a crazy amount of time.
Yeah, I see somebody in Twitch chat saying physicalized armor on ships. We probably should mention that is lumped into the engineering update. I think we all maybe overlooked that and assumed that's part of that, and maybe not everybody does assume that's part of it. That would be a part of the engineering update, as it was a part of the engineering YouTube video when they had talked about it. So,
which I will say, probably not, like even then though, probably not in the way that a lot of people think of physicalized armor. Like we are not talking Maelstrom.
No.
Yeah.
We are talking this, if I can find it, which I think was in this episode, but I'm not sure. This might have been the previous episode. But where was
we
it?
are just taking we are just talking essentially like health of parts of ship and like very baseline. Which is all you really need for engineering to be exciting and useful. So
it was here that there your ship armor is gone and like Argo MPUV ship armor. So that's what we do expect this to be part of it. Yep. Then other things I think are the things that I hope for. I see somebody in chat said more flight changes. Maybe. Yes, probably some small ones, but they do seem like they have a big undertaking coming with master modes. I feel like that's spoiler, that's my Q2 one is they'll spend 6 months hard on getting a lot of master mode stuff dialed in.
Well, yeah, it requires engineering, right? In order for you to get the full picture of how you want to mess around with, like particularly the big ships. And you can't really pre-do that without knowing how the players are going to use those ships.
Correct.
So I think you're exactly right on that. I think engineering will come in. We probably won't see a lot of changes to the flight model with engineering necessarily, with the exception of maybe like power related stuff.
Yeah.
And then over the course of the year, like it'll be an ongoing thing. I think we'll see tons of balance changes in the flat model just over and over and over again.
Sure. And still for Q1, economy stuff, I hope. I both loved and hate what I saw in the economy changes in Star Citizen 4.0. I love the idea of smaller locations taking in smaller amounts but paying more. But the current system is like, people are blocking the terminals and it's just like, I will wait here forever to sell this thing, and I don't know what the solution to those kind of problems. Like, you don't have to wait forever. Like, I don't know, I was waiting at Tram and Myers to sell RMC for 10.9 when I could have sold it at Orison instantly for 10.8.
Yep.
Like it's just, I don't know, but there's things like that. Obviously, I have some massive gripes with the cargo missions. My assumption is that, like, I saw a cargo mission that was move 6 SU of processed food. That is 900 credits or something like that, or 1,200 credits of processed food for 96K. Like, where in economy land did this come from? I have no idea how that would ever be a thing. Was it at a location that is highly contested in Pyro? Yes. But the numbers still don't add up, right? The numbers are still kind of crazy and don't add 96K for something, 12K. I don't see anybody doing that I'm talking about that specific
Yeah.
insane difference of a number.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Right?
Those differences of numbers are crazy, but they have like 4.0 has shown that they've moved towards just numbers in general being higher. So the idea is that like essentially you're getting the same money. It's just to your eyes, it is a higher number as long as things are more expensive.
Do you think
So
that is because they knew the missions wouldn't work?
no, I don't think so.
I do. I think it's
I don't know.
because the pay is so high because it would be about where it was with the 50% fail rate that basically everyone has.
No, I don't think so because it's still too high for even that, I think.
I also think it's just too high. Like, do you like what it's at right now? I do not. It's just, it seems like money is just no issue in the game whatsoever.
It's not, but that's because a lot of things that you would buy still haven't necessarily been increased in price much, right? Like,
And you can't lose them.
Yeah.
There's also exploits there, by the way,
Yeah.
as well. So
Mm.
Like literally everything is exploited in this
Yeah.
game. But
But 4.0 was the biggest change to the economy in a long while. That's going to continue happening every quarter this year.
Yep.
We'll see changes across the board. Yeah.
Yeah. So flight, economy. If we get the transit refactor, hopefully just interacting with freight elevators and your ASOP terminal is just better. But
Yep.
maybe that's a Q2 or later as well.
Yep.
Ready for the hard. Now we get to the hard part.
Yeah.
Also, just pointing out, is there anything from CitizenCon that you think might make it into a Q1 patch? Anything?
Not Q1.
Well, no, we did mention one. We did mention the armor. So we did mention one.
Yeah, that's true. I do have a prediction that maybe I don't think it'll make it in time for Q1, but I do think we'll make it in time for Q2.
I'm already bringing it up. I think I know what you're saying.
Weather.
Oh no! This is what I had coming.
So, but guess what I was going to talk about after weather.
Okay.
So I'll start with weather. We saw them talk about, hey, we have dynamic clouds coming. We have, there was in the presentation, there was a bunch of other like awesome graphical changes, but the dynamic clouds and weather were a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of us were like, this is end of next year. This is 2 years away, whatever. And then they were like, by the way, 4.0 has dynamic clouds. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. That is a lot further ahead than I thought it would be. And so I will say, I do not think we'll see what we're about to see in like 5 seconds here.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see like lightning hitting your ship and making you fall out of the clouds or anything. But I do think by the end of like Q2, we'll have rain, like actual rain, and things like wind and like the actual movement of the clouds being like somewhat correlated, that sort of thing. I don't know. It just feels a lot further ahead than I originally thought it did.
Okay. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I guess it's not an impossibility. And the moment that kind of stuff happens, then we're talking, ground vehicles, needing to be a thing. So
yeah,
could be good as well. And then maybe you get a lot of ground vehicle reworks as well. Which would be needed.
But then you did bring up another one, which I do think will probably be about Q2, which is the Sandworm.
Dude, it looked this could even go into the Q1 technically, but without the resources on it, because we haven't said anything about crafting obviously yet. But like it looked playable. It's just like are you able to not spawn the thing very easily or whatever? But it looks jank, but it looked not so like jank that it wouldn't be fun.
Exactly. This looks like Evo Cardi playable.
Yeah, Evo Cardi playable.
Yeah. I think what they're going to do with this, because obviously, the Sandworm is very far along because we saw it in engine. Zach is very excited about it and how it was working. Everyone who I talked to who was like in this server playing it and fighting the Sandworm said it was like, it was working. It was crazy. I think it will be in a spot that is probably ready in Q2. And I'll go one step further. I think they'll probably do a light dynamic event in Q2 in relation to this. So
can I just say I hope we don't have a single fucking dynamic event at all, even though I know that it was in the letter for the chairman and they're going to continue to do this garbage. I just want the game to just let it live for a little while and just let us be the game.
Yeah, but yes,
Let
but
us tell
also
the
no.
story.
I like the idea of having things like dynamic events to introduce this type of gameplay. I guess they just haven't been super successful in the past, right?
What makes you think they will
or
be
at least
now,
for us.
Croncy?
Hopium. This is the Hopium episode.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, it's more that I think that they'll introduce the sandworm, like rather than, hey, here is a mission for the sandworm, or here is the weird 10 different things you have to do to summon the sandworm. I think the way that they'll introduce it will be very similar to the Steal the Idris event, that kind of dynamic event where it's just like, hey guys, we're gonna spawn a sandworm here once every 6 hours. Go, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, think of it in that style, not in a Xenothreat style or a whatever else style.
Yeah. I think we should also probably mention that I don't know how many of these, but I'm just waiting for it to come up here. A number of these will end up in the game throughout possibly every quarter. Which ones?
Yeah.
Hard to say, but I could expect maybe a new one each quarter or something like that, right? But
yeah, I think that's a safe assumption. Not only that, but they'll probably rotate between docile creatures, so the Maroks or the cows, and hostile creatures like the Copians and whatever comes next. And
we know seen some crazy ones, right? Towards the end of the year, there was some video with some crazy looking ones.
What's this?
Oh, no, it was a sneak peek. It was a sneak peek with the cow looking thing, but it had udders.
Yeah,
the blue milk. Yeah. That
blue
one.
udder cow variant. That could be your addition to 4.0. Who knows?
True. Yeah, because it doesn't seem any different as far as animations than what we already have.
Just a new model. Yeah.
So maybe.
So that'd be cool. Yeah, I think we'll see more of these as long as with these we get more gameplay opportunities too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, every creature that comes in sets up gameplay opportunities for crafting, it looks like, but just no crafting there. Ready for Q3?
Yeah, so now it's hard because Q3 and Q4 so far away, so little information. And I almost want to put them in their own category.
They usually change their mind completely and start doing whatever their plan is for CitizenCon. Now,
yes.
Is CitizenCon again going to be Super Squadron focused? Because it's kind of the release-ish year. I don't know. So that makes it a little weird.
I mean to say, I don't know if it will be. They'll dedicate more time to it than they did this year, I imagine.
Yeah,
last year, sorry, where it was just the hour-long video, which is cool, but it was just the hour-long video. There'll probably be some more stuff. Maybe they get some people in to talk about the level design of the levels that are going to be in the voice acting, whatever. But I think because last year was such a concept heavy CitizenCon, I think we get into the brass tacks of everything they do from then till then. So we see some I think CitizenCon this year we will probably see in-engine social UI.
Dude, I was already ready for you. I was going to say, I think, I think in Q3, I don't know if we get orgs.
Yep.
But I think we get party improvements and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think this is going to be, of everything that was shown at CitizenCon, I think this concept stuff is probably the most likely to, once again, other than the armor, is the most likely to be in the game by the end of the year. And I feel around Q3, around Q4 is probably when you'll see this stuff and it actually be usable.
Yeah. Certified Gumbo comes on the show a lot, so social should be a priority for Q1. It should have been a priority 5 years ago. So we're all in agreement that it's number one priorities, but it's really hard to believe after seeing a PowerPoint that any of this is in engine, anywhere
exactly
near.
Yeah.
right?
like I think they do have it as a priority. I think it's going to take longer than 3 months for them to
Correct.
get all this together.
Yeah.
I do feel like this is the kind of mechanic that comes in all at once, as in like we probably get orgs and party stuff at
Okay.
the same time. Just because they do lend towards each other quite a bit, like the interactions that you'll have and whatnot. Though I will say, I had one prediction that might be earlier than Q3, which is a rudimentary player trading app before
Please.
Q3.
Please. I don't think until we get crafting and base building we'll have what we really need, but I hope something.
Because it's been a feature now that we've had our hands on 4.0 for a while that it's like, wow, I really need this like right now because I want to do this a lot more often than I thought.
Dude, yeah, like how all the people complaining about contested zone content like being only for PvPers, things like that. Well, the moment that PvPer can sell you what they have, like their doubles, because you know at some point they're going to start getting more than what they need, then how does that ever become a problem if they're able to just throw it up on the marketplace? You go, you mine, you make your money, and then you buy it from them, and it's just simple. You don't even have to talk to them. If it was like an app that just worked, right? So that's big. I hope you're right because I would love to see the org stuff. I would specifically love to see this, especially if we're talking Sandworm. These kind of have to come together, right? Things like that would be really beautiful to see. So I hope you're right on that. We already got the FOIP stuff, right? So that worked out well. Guide system was mentioned, and then this is the one that it's like I don't know, but I do hope organization stuff gets a really big focus in 2025 because man, it felt we need each other so much more now than ever. And
I imagine as well, like every year you get some big UI change. Last year it was getting the Squadron AI straight up, right? It was the new Mobiglass, the new FPS radar, the AI, the minimaps, all that stuff. This would I feel like would be the big thing for this year. And I think one of the things that maybe makes it a little bit more realistic to come this year as well is some other stuff that we're talking about, which is like crafting related, base building related stuff. Doesn't need this. This doesn't need that. Like this could come in. It is essentially just a more advanced party system. Like it feels like a lot less work, I guess, is what I'm essentially trying to say.
Do you think we get this?
No,
dude. No, I don't even think. I don't even think we get this.
Oh, you reckon it gets canned?
Yeah, dude. Who is going to? Who they're gonna have to hire somebody. How many orgs are there to get their logos approved?
It would be an upload. Oh, to get them approved? True.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting thing. But it could also just be the case of like other games do a similar thing, but it's just like a, you know, hey, you see a really shitty thing, just report it.
Just report it and we'll ban you.
But that would require a good report system in Star Citizen, so
true. In-game reporting would be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is all very cool stuff, right? And hope that
I think
we
it'll
get,
happen. No
get
chance that happens this year, though.
No, I don't think it's needed either. Should not be a priority. Nobody should be working on getting our logos into the game right now. Just there's so many more important things. Let me think on this side. I do think we start to see crafting in 2020 or in Q3. That's when I see it. I think it's either Q2 or Q3.
I don't see it till Q4. Okay. And the specific version I see of it as well is a communal crafting system, as in like so you like base building. I don't think hits anything this year. I do not think we see us placing down bases at all
in 2025.
No shot,
dude. You are so negative. Glass half empty. Maybe you should try another game. I don't think this game's for you.
I don't think we get it this year. I think it's going to be next year. But I do think we see crafting in the end of the year. And
how do you see crafting without base building? They have to exist together.
They don't. Components, guns, armor.
Where in your hangar, maybe?
No, refinery stations. So they already talked about, or like similar to refinery stations, maybe cargo decks, that type of thing.
Okay.
Because they've already talked about when they talked about crafting last year.
Okay.
They mentioned there would be like crafting stations that you can go to, and you can like you don't have to go to player ones. And I imagine that would be the easiest way to implement it first. In addition, the things to craft that would be easiest to do first are once again, FPS items. This year, we're getting engineering. We're going to have flight stuff change all the time. Ship stuff is going to be awkward to really pin down, I think, until that's sorted. Base building, by extension, of course, there as well, I think is going to take a really long time. I think that's going to be the feature that is in that new EPTU thing for the longest time.
True.
At least in the near future. So,
I also think this being like, let's look at it from a pushing the game forward standpoint. I hope this is 100% their number one priority to get into the game as soon as possible. Reason being is you are going to be forced to optimize this game to get it. Like the way we're dealing with entity counts right now is ridiculous, right? Like they got to get them down. And and they're going to have to get them down with this. So for me, I want them to prioritize this because of that reason. I don't necessarily think I need it in 2024. I need it now, but I think you know what I mean by that. And I think it's what is needed to push the game and where it needs to go. But I don't see a world where we have crafting without bases. I also don't see the need to hold it back outside of entity count. So the idea of, well, we need to figure out all the recipes. No, you don't. No, you don't. 1.0 is 15 years, like it's forever away. Like, you know what I mean? You don't have to get it right today. We both have played EVE. There is outside of planetary industry, the tier 1 components in EVE are very simplistic with the amount of materials that are used. It is maybe 10 that are used. They're just used in different well, it's more than 10 when you think salvage, but but yeah, they're used in just different amounts and things like that. It does not have to be as complicated as you might think. And then every UI we saw just had 3 entries. So, you don't need that many. They
had some very basic stuff.
Yeah, so we don't need to introduce as many new materials or items or things as you might think. So, and you can add those as you go. You can make it more complicated or less complicated as you go. Is this fun? You need to figure that out immediately. You need to find you don't need to make it complicated before you find out if it's fun. And that's the thing that CIG just does not get. And Jared always talks about, the point of realism and bring it back to fun. Nah, man. You need to find out if it's fun first and stop wasting our fucking time.
Then put it to realism if you want.
Holy shit. Our time, your time, our money, and your money. You guys have been throwing it away for years. Wake up. Let's just find out if it's fun. It's simple.
Yeah. So I want to add just like a few things to that prediction that I have. I do want to point out that I think that it won't be live by the end of the year.
Oh, it could be in a preview.
Like base building stuff. Exactly, yeah. I think we may see it in like that EPTU build or whatever, in some variation. It's just what will make it to live, my expectations, and like what I would also be happy with is just like us able to craft very simple things in a station somewhere with materials, whatever, with it, and it doesn't require like I think it's a realistic expectation.
Yeah, somebody in Twitch chat says preview makes predictions hard. Absolutely, 100%. It's going to make it complicated because it gives them the out of, well, you could play it now, but it's not in the live yet, and it's like, so it only matters when it's live, but it's not. It doesn't, because you could try everything without it. So the one thing I don't necessarily know if we'll have is the ship crafting. I think we will get a more rudimentary version of crafting than all this finalized stuff. I also don't think we're going to have this ginormous base and maybe hangars and things like that. The original demo that they showed of placing a little base down and a little power thing, and
Mhm.
that's where I think we'll probably be. And yeah,
Well,
find out if
especially
it's
because
fun. Don't go crazy.
if they want if they want it to work mechanically like they said they would, then the large bases would require the Starland to build, which I don't think is going to make it this year. If it does, it'll be literally like IA,
Hmm.
uh, and like possibly the Pioneer, which I don't think yet. Though we'll see both of those ships this year. So um,
Yep.
they need to make it. If we do get base building, it'll have to be the small scale, and see where they go with that. Yeah.
Do we get a new star system in
Yes.
2025? And I'm assuming it's Q4, correct?
Yeah.
For you? Okay.
Yeah, it's Q4. It's gonna be Nyx.
Yeah.
It works cool. The only thing that'll be interesting, and may make them change their mind, or at least change their mind about how the system works, is it has been very clear so far that with Pyro and Stanton, there is a huge trying to think of the word. The player split is like a lot crazier than I thought it would be, is essentially what I'm trying to say.
There's a lot
And
more
then
in
if you
Stanton than are in Pyro. If that is that what you mean?
there are, yeah. And then
Yeah.
if you more than I thought would be, right? I
Yeah,
thought it
it's
would be
not
way
50-50.
more people, everyone jumping into Pyro because it's the new hotness. There's a lot less of that. If you then introduce another lawless system,
Good point.
it's like, all right, well, like how brutally does this affect the gameplay overall if there's not at the same time like another lawful system?
How
However,
lawless as well is this lawless
exactly.
system?
That's why I was like, they might change that up in some sort of respect, at least to how they were sort of portraying all 5 systems to be last year.
Yep.
So I think it said, yeah, we'll see Nyx, and I want to remind everyone, Nyx is barren AF. There is one landing zone which we saw last year,
Careful.
almost fully completed, and reusing assets, which is Delamar. Everything else in Nyx is barren. We are not talking Pyro levels of release here. We're certainly not talking Stanton levels of release. Like, it is a smaller task, straight up.
Croncy is not a weekend in review enjoyer. I could tell.
That's true.
Last week there was a lore makers questions or whatever, and they're retconning Nyx.
All right, and what do they go into details about it, or
not details? But it's it needs to be more fun, and there needs to be more points of interest, and blah 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 kind of thing.
Sure.
So they're basically what they're doing with what they did with Pyro, they will do with Nyx, but Nyx just generally has less stuff. Well, people don't know what retconning means. It's like what we had said previously. We are going to go back on that and do something possibly entirely different.
Usually lore related.
Yeah, usually lore related. So that's what it means. Changing the what is known.
Yeah, if they at least keep it that it's still 3 planets and that's it, then it's still significantly less work.
Agreed.
In that regard.
Yes.
And what I imagine is retcon.
There might be a lot of asteroid belts.
Yeah, as well as like it's probably a lot more inhabited than like it is in the lore currently, right? Because right now it's like literally people only live at Delamar. That's it. Like screw the rest of the system. I imagine we'll probably see like pirates and stuff on like planets and whatnot.
We don't have asteroid bases yet, right? Things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I still think even with like that does push my stuff a little bit further. We'll see how that goes, but I'm still a little bit confident that we'll see Nyx at the end of the year.
Yeah, it seems less difficult now to make another star system. We heard maybe about 2 years ago the Montreal team saying that they were no longer working on Pyro and they refocused back onto Stanton. Reason being, not because Pyro didn't need to be worked on. It was because they knew they weren't getting meshing anytime soon. Then when they knew meshing was coming closer, then it was, oh yeah, we better get working on this. And now here we are without a very finished Pyro. But so I think now they know I think people are underestimating what getting over this server meshing hump really is and how impactful it is. we're complaining about bugs, we're complaining about being locked out of the game, but
Mhm.
there's not a lot of complaining about really shitty FPS or AI that don't react or
Yeah,
so on and
exactly.
so forth, right? Like I played this morning with one of my old mods from 5, 6, 7 years ago, and he was
Mhm.
just like, the experience was, it wasn't super fun or anything, it wasn't crazy, but it was smooth. So
Yeah.
like people coming
Yeah.
back are starting to see those kind of things. So
Yeah.
there is definitely, is 2025 going to be the year? Every new year is the best year that Star Citizen ever had because
There's
it's
a
moving
real answer
forward
for what year is the year, and it's whenever Squadron releases. That is the year.
for Squadron, but the year for Star Citizen is probably
Or even
1.0, right?
sure, but like even then, I feel like the Squadron release is also the year for Star Citizen because like just imagine
The
the
influx of
new player
people.
acquisition exactly.
Could be, but the game has to be fun.
Assuming
Will
it's
they
good.
hold them? Yeah. Will they hold them? So
Yeah.
hopefully this is one of those steps into holding players. The launch was
Mhm.
terrible though. Like it just
Yep.
isn't, it isn't good. It wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it was still
Mhm.
not good. So yeah,
Yep.
I mean Q4, I think that's sort of what we get. We get another star system. They're going to be pushing for that kind of stuff. I don't think,
Mhm.
basically guys, if there's no way CIG is planning to take 5 years to get 1.0 out, it's what will happen most likely. But
Yeah.
assume a star system a year from here on out, and that's
I
where
wouldn't
my
say from
head
here on
is.
out, just because I think Castro and Terra will
After
probably.
after
Re-
the 5, sorry.
yes, after the 5, I agree. Yeah, we'll probably be in that sort of world.
Yeah. Or no, up to the 5 is what I'm meaning, not after the 5. I see what you're saying. Is that Castro and
Like I
Terra
think
will take
Castro and
longer?
Terra. Yeah, I think they'll
Maybe.
especially Terra.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe they'll retcon Terra to be tiny instead. Uh,
They're going to have
yeah,
to.
like I think when we did our CitizenCon predictions, I was like, I don't think we're going to see Terra. My main reason for that is because it is, while it's not practically Stanton in terms of its like scale of landability and stuff, it's damn close. It is very populous. The planets are all very different, and there's a lot of them. And so I think that'll take like quite a few years. And we haven't seen any planet tech of Terra ever.
No,
We haven't seen
we saw
when.
rainforests. We saw
Those are
lots of stuff.
biomes, not planet tech. That is a very, very different thing.
What do you mean by
Because
planet tech
biomes.
then?
So we saw the Nyx planet tech like 3.5 years ago, where they literally showed this is what the planet looks like underneath, right?
Okay.
This is the sculpting of the planet. This is where we want to put all these biomes, etc. We haven't seen that at all for Terra. We've just seen them come up with some biomes, which is still cool stuff, and it is a big part of it. But they essentially, like, while they probably have started building them, they have not shown us the planets. Yeah, kind of what
I'm
G
just
Cubed is saying. The biomes are demos of Planet Tech, basically. And while they will get used for Terra, they will also get used for, like I imagine the redwoods will get used for microtech.
sure. I
Right.
just think a big part of this talk was
Mhm.
it's automated. It's they're using like definitions to go, this is the temperature, this is the moisture, now go.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, yeah, for sure. And I'm sure it'll cut down on the time. I don't think it'll cut it down to a year.
okay, fair enough. I
Yeah.
mean, I disagree obviously, but it doesn't matter. Um that's where I'm at, I think, for major things. I'm trying to think of other things from CitizenCon that we may have missed. What's here on the list of
Uh,
things that we saw? We
yeah.
the
I was going to touch quickly on like ships. I expect that
can we
similar to 2024.
Can we do that
We'll,
next before we finish all the tech
yeah, yeah,
stuff? And then we could just
yeah, yeah,
focus just on ships, maybe like per quarter, because we know a
yeah, yeah,
list of ships and we can just go down that list. I was thinking like
yeah,
this
sure.
kind of stuff, the stuff that
Hmm.
Ian went on stage for, you got to
Yeah,
assume that we see this within the next year, hopefully, or in
yeah,
some case,
yeah.
right?
Like we are kind of seeing it now. The what's the
Trying to
name
see where his
of the
demo of it is.
beach? Trawler's Beach. Trawler's Beach and all of the surroundings are basically that
Clusters of stuff, right?
cluster. Yeah, so seeing more of that stuff, yeah, for sure. I think that's going to be one of the big location team things that we'll see this year. The question is, will they? It'll probably get added to Stanton. Will they add any more to Pyro? I don't know. But yeah, like this stuff is being implemented. I think we'll see it in every patch. So it's similar to how when they first introduced derelict outposts,
Mm-hmm.
we then saw them just get added every patch afterwards, like in different forms and stuff. What's this?
No chance.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding
Q1
around.
this year.
I'm just going through everything that we haven't seen.
Yeah.
I don't think all the 1.0 talk. I don't think we're going to see too many things from that. Maybe maybe a mission giver talking and giving us a mission at some point in this year. That would be a nice step towards 1.0. I think would be really cool. Getting a blueprint as a reward. That kind of stuff. Those are the 1.0 talks that I'd like to see. Insurance. They need to get a proper insurance system into this game ASAP, and they need to start tinkering with it and getting it right. This bullshit that we have now needs to just go away and function normally.
That sort of goes along a lot with what we were talking about before about like what things are people complaining about in 4.0 that they weren't complaining about before and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
In a broader term, it means that they can also focus on things that previously have been cursed by instability. One of those would be like ship claims and stuff like that, right? Where it's like you can't increase the ship claim timers because everyone's ships are exploding for no good reason.
Ooh, I found one.
Broadly overall this year, I do think, I very much hope, but I do think those sort of things are going to start coming online as we start building more on top of these features, and we'll see significantly less bugs. We're not seeing significantly less bugs right now, but
yeah. Ooh, sorry, the video was actually playing. I think we 100% get this in this year. I think we're going. Like, people are asking, is mining worth it now? Blah, blah, blah. They keep coming in. I was mining a little bit today. There is absolutely zero reason to learn mining at the depth that you would need to learn mining today, because it is all changing completely. The only thing that you do need to consider is this the direction that they're going in for everything? Which is in Pyro exclusively. It does not work this way in Stanton. I actually had the developer who implemented this into the game in chat yesterday, or 2 days ago. And the distribution of ore from the center of the star out to the rings, or the furthest depths of the system, is dense material in the center and then getting less dense as you go out. In the current game, you do not want to mine dense material. Reason being is every time you find something with quantanium in it, it will also have something else like copper or titanium or aluminum or ice. You want that other thing to be less dense, because then the rock will be made up of, instead of 20 SCU and 30% of that 20 SCU is quantanium, it will be 150 SCU, and 30% of that 150 SCU will be quantanium. Now you have 50 SCU of quantanium, where you would have had, what,
less.
7?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. So it doesn't make any sense to go for dense materials. What this was said at CitizenCon is it's going to be 1 material per rock, and then probably inert. Let's be honest here. They'll be inert with it still. Yeah. So that's what you're going for. You're going to learn, okay, the denser materials are maybe in the center and the lighter materials are on the outside. And now you're looking for light, valuable material. And it's all about quality. And I think that they can do the material quality without having crafting, because you could just say the higher the material quality, the more it'll sell for. And they could kind of dial that in fairly quickly. So I do think that that's something that they can do in maybe Q2, is the mining changes. Also, something that Torsten talked about was that salvage change to construction materials, where you're actually going to get stuff and not the fake construction materials.
Yep.
I want it so bad. I want it so bad. I can't even describe it to you.
I will
So
say
yeah,
in a sort of like parallel to that, I would like to see as part of that harvestables, as in like harvestable plants and stuff,
yep.
actually be relevant in the economy, and
What
like
would make them
that is
relevant
part of that, right?
outside of
Well, in the
crafting?
future, blueprints, right? Yeah. So right now, just make them worth more.
Okay,
Like whenever you do implement quality of minerals, quality of salvage, that sort of stuff, make the harvestables actually like worth going out and getting. Because it can be a really interesting gameplay loop.
oh
It
yeah,
used to be when it was like, hey, I want to go find Heart of the Woods. The actual Heart of the Woods was worth nothing,
yeah,
but it was like, all right, I actually want to kind of try to see if I can find it in this forest here,
yeah,
whatever. And it was honestly one of the like first exploration gameplay loops, sort
sure.
of. Bring that back, make that an actual thing. The only way to actually make it a thing is make it worth something, and then
Dude,
people will do it.
dude, I want to take what you're saying like a step further that is a little crazy, and I don't know what people think about it. Yell at me if you want. I don't care. I
Yep.
know I'm right.
Hmm.
Is what MMO what MMO exists without a cook? There's cooks
True.
in most MMOs. There are a lot
Hmm.
of produced foods in Star Citizen.
Hmm.
What if I made the sandwiches that are at Microtech? Right?
Yeah.
What if I made the smoothies? I could do that too. And what if those, not insane or anything like that, but what if, when my stomach is full, I have a little more stamina. I'm what if I drink a
Yep.
certain thing, I have a little bit more strength. Like little buffs.
Well fed bonus.
Yeah. Nothing crazy, nothing crazy,
Yeah. Yeah.
but little tweaks, right? What if
Yeah.
then your harvestables are we see that there's farms that are going to be at base building.
Hmm.
Uh, I think that's where we go with some of these
Yeah.
things.
No, for
And
sure. Like
to
get your
make it valuable, that's how you make it valuable.
get your cow tongues, get your patambus, chuck them in a
Put them
stew.
in a blender
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
and
But that's
it's
the
worth
thing.
something.
That is a thing that would have to come with crafting. At least from the sounds of it, I don't like they did talk about food crafting. I
Yeah.
think food crafting might be further away than a lot of the like basic stuff.
What's crazy is that could be
But
the
yeah,
tech because it's more simplistic. Maybe that could be
it
one of the
would
first
be more
things,
simplistic. Yeah, like it would probably be an easy one to implement
but
that
they
no one
won't.
would care. Not as many people would care about is the problem.
Exactly. 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 So yeah, like could get like a cow tongue sandwich,
Yeah,
wouldn't do it,
exactly.
but
Yeah,
it would be cool. It would be cool.
yeah.
That's all I have, unless something else popped in your mind about feature
Well,
wise.
ships. So ships.
Yeah,
Yeah, features and tech. I think that's most of everything.
let me bring up
Um,
the ship.
I will add
Uh,
one. I think we will see at least one more server size increase this year. Don't know when. It'll probably be when they're
very
comfortable
good
with it.
point. Very good point.
I think we will go past the 600. I don't think we'll go past 1,000 this year. Maybe we'll settle around there. But even today, like once again, the 4.0 is not great. But even today, when I was looking through my friends list, seeing how everyone's servers were populated, they were pretty populated. Like there was a lot of servers, 550, 600 people. Also a lot of servers with like 200 people, one server with 11. But the demand will hopefully be there when the patch goes well. So
Yeah,
yeah, I imagine we'll see a little bit larger.
for sure. All right, ship wise,
Hmm.
I'm bringing up the going into production in the next
Next 12 months,
year,
yeah.
whatever bullshit that they said this time around.
Yeah.
What do you think comes first?
Before we talk about what comes first, as an overall thing, last year CIG put a lot more. It feels like they've been doing it more and more every year, but I think it felt a lot heavier last year. They put a lot more value into old ships and straight to flyables. There were still concepts, but less of them than we normally get. Keep doing that. Keep heading that direction. Give us more straight to flyables, old ships. Stop increase, like continue to stop increasing the backlog
Gold standard
and give
reworks.
us the new stuff. Yes. That's interesting. So we now have 3 ship teams, I believe. Last year we got the 3rd ship
Montreal,
team added
US
because of
and UK.
yeah, and you Euro. So um it would be nice to see one of those teams like just working on refactors for whatever needs to get brought back. There are still too many things on the backlog for like multiple teams, I think, to work on that.
Yep.
But someone to be dedicated about it. But yeah, that's an overall thing. So what's on our list? What's on our list for the next 12 months?
This, I believe, is the first one, and here's the video that's about to play. This is already in, or is this the base building one?
No, there's a few that are already in, so that's already in.
Okay.
Because some of them were like at
already in.
Yeah.
Right.
Which one's this?
Nursa?
No, Nursa was.
Wait, what is this?
Earlier. I think this is one that's not in yet.
What is this supposed to be? It has tracks.
Does it?
Okay.
No,
yeah.
I think it's. I think those are tires.
I don't know.
Those are tires, but it is big. Another new Spartan. Let's go.
Yeah.
I love the Spartan. Like,
okay. Well,
ships.
then, what was the other Ursa then?
Yeah, minivan. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, that's interesting.
These two are the weird ones. Is like more things that I don't know what we would do with, and
yeah. Well, so yeah, so this is a Spartan variant, like another Spartan variant. No idea what though. Could be like a build variant.
Yep.
Possibly. Yeah, like that would make sense, I guess. So right now for the Spartans, we have regular Spartan, which is nothing, a troop carrier. We have the Centurion and we have the Ballista. So we've got 2 anti-airs, 1 missiles, 1 guns. So I don't really know where you go from there.
EMP.
EMP could be interesting, because we do have the Cyclone AA has an EMP.
There's also value in now with master modes is quantum enforcement devices.
Yeah, keep them on the ground or keep them near the ground.
Yeah.
Could be interesting. But I will say, yeah, because it's a variant, we'll probably see it early. It is military, so maybe we'll see it at Invictus, which means Q1, Q2.
Okay. All right, next is...
the Hornets, they came out.
We already got them. Yeah, the Ghost and Tracker, right? These are the next two. I think they show the Tracker next. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cringe. Nobody's even using them. Not even in the meta. Other one that we already got.
Meta pin.
Yeah.
Yep. Guardian.
Guardian. All right.
Look, it was the same thing last year too.
This is the interesting one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was talking about this before we started.
Yeah.
Go. I'll let you start.
This is the MISC Fortune.
Yes. What is the MISC Fortune?
I really wanted it. I have to say, I really wanted it to be an Argo mining ship because the legs are very Argo.
Yeah.
It's not. It's the MISC salvage ship, most likely.
Yeah.
And kind of a prospector variant, but sort of like it doesn't feel like a straight variant. It feels like it's got a little bit like more to it with the back. It's a lot different, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. It feels more like how the Raft and the Mole are variants of
on
each
the
other.
Same platform.
But they're like on the same platform, yeah. So salvage ship. It's gonna look a lot like the Prospector, which is great because the Prospector has an amazing what do you call it? Like visor, not visor, like the windshield, the front.
Yeah,
the view is great. Yep. And makes it awesome to do stuff quickly. I think we'll see this honestly Q1 or like the Q1 patch.
I think Q1, Q2 as well. Reason being is nothing gets fixed, reworked, worked on ever, it feels like, unless it involves a ship sale. Right? Ship sales are very important to pushing things forward.
Yeah.
People were complaining today in my stream that you can't buy the Argo mole bags and bring them up your freight elevator because they're broken, right? What's going to fix that? It's this guy right here. Why? It's not just going to fix that. It's going to fix a lot of other things because if this is actually a salvager, which we all think it is,
Yeah.
How do you sell RMC? It doesn't work like that. It has to. You have to be able to sell the contents of the bag from the bag now, which you cannot do in the current game.
Well, this doesn't have bags.
Yes,
it's probably
it
going to
does.
be the big thing. Where?
You'll have to give me a second, but
Or is it in the
yeah,
the IAE video?
IAE video. They have it top down. It's
Okay.
got bags. So it does.
Interesting.
Yeah, it does have bags. So this is the thing
Wait,
that's going to fix it.
I thought in the video they were just showing the prospector, but they mentioned the fortune.
That's what it appears like. But I think it's got bags. I am pulling it, strings here, straws or whatever. But that's my assumption, is that whenever this comes is when we're going to see the resolution to a lot, or slightly before we'll see the resolution to a lot of the issues around the mining bags and things like that. So miners
I think
rejoice.
that'll happen regardless.
It is happening regardless. Luke Presley is the guy who's doing it. Like, he already came in Twitch chat and talked about it. Is the first thing was the getting the bags off the prospector properly and back on, and then the next steps are fixing the snapping of grids and Luke Presley didn't mention it, but it was mentioned in a 4.0 fucking watch or whatever, like one of these posts. It's coming. They're working on it. The reason it's been prioritized, though, I'm just gonna say it's because of this, because again, CIG. So very excited for this one for many reasons.
Yeah, and we both agree Q1, Q2 most likely for that one.
Yeah. Oh, are there sacks on the fucking ground right next to it, by the way? Yeah.
Right those here. Looks like box. Are those? The ones in the front are definitely boxes.
The ones in front were boxes. I think in back was
possibly
stacks. Is this the Apollo?
I believe so, yes. This one it'll specifically either be Invictus or IAE. It's not going to be like a random patch one, I don't think.
No.
Just because like there are a lot of ships that they do like lore releases for, and it's usually either Invictus or IAE. So kind of hard to place when we'll see it, but they haven't shown us like any models of it, I don't think, other than this recently.
That'll be an
so
ISC.
It could be later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll definitely see some ISCs of teasing that.
How big is the Apollo?
I think it's pretty big. It's got a lot of beds.
Oh, there's a person at the front there. That I'm gonna say Invictus.
Sized?
Yeah, I think this could make it by Invictus, I think.
Okay. Hopefully with some medical changes, gameplay changes, things like that as well. Invictus, maybe crafting and stuff is online.
Yeah.
This wild thing.
What the hell is this?
The mini Corsair. The next vehicle to get majorly nerfed. Yeah, it's just goofy looking.
If it's combat, yeah. I agree with some of the people in chat. Drake heavy fighter, I imagine.
Yeah.
At which point, maybe defense con, which is Drake's Invictus.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. We just don't know what it is. Like, we don't even know if it's a heavy fighter. We just know this shape, and that's it.
Yeah. And just because of that, everyone is going want. It's just so unique because it's so different looking.
That's the thing. I really like unique looking ships, and this is a very unique looking ship. So it's got my vote for sure.
For sure.
So I have no idea. I will say probably Defense Con, but really, who knows?
Yeah, we're also coming into the probably will not release this year on some of these.
Yeah.
What was this again? Perseus?
Yeah, that's the Perseus, right?
Maybe? I don't know.
If it is the Perseus.
It can't be. Look at how tiny this guy is. Look at how big this guy is.
That's the Apollo? Wait, what the hell is the other ship then?
Is this the Arastra?
No, the Arastra is massive.
Wait, what was the other ship?
Yeah, what the hell was the other ship that? Wait, can we go back?
Yeah.
If that's the Apollo. Oh, yeah, was the other one a Zeus? The Zeus variant?
What is this?
Someone said Intrepid, which is no. So wrong.
Yeah, no.
Ironclad?
We'll see the Ironclad in a bit. Zeus MR? Yeah, could be.
Maybe. But it's too short for a Zeus, right?
I don't know.
I don't think that could be the Intrepid, because that'd be the weirdest angle.
I can't remember. And there's a Reddit thread of all the people agreeing on what things are, but yeah,
that's weird. Anyway,
that
back to
we
the Apollo.
already
We already
have,
talked about
right?
the Apollo. Yeah, so that's the Star Lancer. I think
this is not the build, right? Or is this the tack?
I think it's supposed to be the build, technically.
What about the tack?
Maybe I think it's just the Star Lancer, realistically. Okay. And it's going to continue getting worked on. I do think we see the tack come out this year.
Yeah. Doesn't
also once again,
why wouldn't it? Just turrets.
Yeah, I think that could be an Invictus as well. Because once again, it's done. Right, that's right. The Star Lancer is done.
Yeah.
It is like some changes in the interior and some weapon changes and a skin.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
I just say, like, by far my favorite chip, like, ever. And when I saw it at CitizenCon, I fucking hated it and I was like, this thing is so stupid. And then it comes out in game and I'm in love with it. I love it.
It's been cool. I've mostly just been grabbing it because
it's the perfect size.
I think one of my originally one of my complaints, I think, was like, I don't know where it fits size wise, but actually if I just want to like do stuff with like a few friends, it's been kind of great.
But also the SCU amount. There's nothing in that 200-ish range and you finally have it. So it just became so useful. So yeah, this is Perseus, but I think I might have skipped one. No, okay.
No, you're good. Perseus, I think, goes into development this year, doesn't release.
No. Too far away.
Yeah.
Look at how long the Polaris took.
Well, the Perseus is smaller.
And it's also Polaris-esque, so maybe it comes in quicker.
Yeah, but it's still like a year of development time, I think. This is like, it's basically a Hammerhead. Right? Like, and that's going to require a lot.
100% coming this year. Let's fucking go. Q1, I needs it now. I needs it now.
It's mostly an empty ship.
Right?
Right?
Exactly.
What are you going to make? You just got to make a
box with tractor beams. Let's go. Get it together. It's a Caterpillar module, box with tractor beams, 4 walls. Do it. No problem. Let's go.
No shot this year.
No.
I think we'll see an ISE towards the end of the year. Maybe, like, honestly, Q3 we might see it, where they show us like a gray box there, or and like a walkthrough.
Yep. Yeah. Sad, but I want it.
And
0% chance in the next 5 years.
Yeah, this is getting worked on because crafting is getting worked on, and in that regard, they go hand in hand. I doubt we'll even see a 3D model of this, as in, like, once again, like a gray box of this before the end of the year. We saw, like, what would be the one that we saw,
or Invictus, or somewhere where they want to sell it. They'll have something.
Honestly,
yeah, they'll have something where it's like, see, look at this update we did. Look at the update.
I will say this is the new Polaris in terms of, like,
we've seen it forever.
The ship we'll see for a while.
Yeah,
being developed. The BMM was the previous Polaris, and rip. But yeah, so we'll see them working on this. They'll show some stuff every few months. This is a like, hey, base building is coming out now, so we need the Pioneer out. So that it's years away. Yeah, I think.
Same. And was there anything else? Or was that it? I think that might have been the way they ended it, because it was like, oh, epic ship coming out of here. So yeah,
I think we'll see, as always, we'll see more variants come out this year again, that like weren't part of that. There'll be some more new concept stuff. Usually they tend to be pretty small though. Sorry, like the straight to flyable, we'll see a bunch more that'll be pretty small.
Somebody in Twitch didn't know what that was, so let's take a moment and just be like,
yeah,
that's the Pioneer. It's a giant crafting ship. It's not a carrier. They thought it was a carrier.
It is a capital crafting ship, basically.
It is a walking crafting base.
Yeah, it is a literal flying factory. I think what they describe it in the ship page.
Yes.
So yeah, the only other things, like, in addition to that, we've been the last alien thing that came out was the Sulin. I'm hoping we see something at Alien Week this year.
You think we get the alien crafting the alien cargo ship? What's the name of it again?
The Raylan. If they were going to do the Raylan, it would have been in that video, I think.
If they were going to do an alien ship, it would have been in that video.
I was about to say, what does the Raylan look like when it's landed? Maybe it's the Corsair ship, but no, it
No.
looks like it looks like an ape doing like this. So
Mhm.
it's not that. But yeah, I'd like to see another alien ship this year. And then otherwise, yeah, mostly just I don't want new concepts, but I am always okay with new straight to flyables as long as they're fun.
Yep. I think we'll get. It all depends on their financial situation.
Mhm.
How many concepts we'll get? I think because they'll
Yeah.
they'll do the bait if they need it, and I don't think
Yeah.
that's stopping them. Like i.e. Paladin this year, like that kind of thing.
Yep.
So we'll see. We may even get the Paladin this year because that's one of the ships that is going into production. So they say. Usually, when they want you to buy a ship, they'll say it's going into production and then stop production on it after the
Yeah.
moment the sale is closed or something. Was one of
Yeah.
the fun memes they do. But that's that I can't think. Do we say like what kind of ship we want to see? Like what would be your ideal ship to come out this year? Maybe just one ship. Choose if there was like a type. Like what do you want to see? And then we can go to callers. I'd say.
Just more gunships, but
You want
that's
more
the best case.
shooting stuff?
More gunships specifically, so like
Hmm.
multi-crew combat.
Hmm.
But realistically, like the list that they showed, and then also like I said, an alien ship is sort of where my mind's at. That's what I'm after.
I want an Argo ship that carries C2 level of cargo.
Yeah,
That's what I want.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Yeah. Are you ready for callers? I'm not quite ready. I didn't put anyone's name on the list, so I'll do that.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm ready. We'll get into it. We'll try to get as many of you as we can today. Obviously, we had a lot more stuff to talk about than normal.
How do you want to go about this?
I'm good to go a little late if necessary.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I
Yeah.
don't have a stop time, but what I do worry about is them going through Q1, Q2, Q4, Q5, and just going forever. So,
True.
how would we keep them to a
I'll say
reasonable
like
number?
at the most, let's get like the three predictions, just three predictions for the year.
Yeah.
Are from you guys.
The top three things that
yeah,
you think are coming this year, and then you say
yeah,
when you
or that
think
you
they're
would like to
coming.
come.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So we got, I think I got their name right, Pepic Walrus or Miles. So we're going to bring in Miles here. First time caller, unless they change their name at some point.
How you doing, Miles?
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Let me just mute the stream. So yeah, I'll keep it quick.
No problem. Yeah, like your top three things that are coming this year are the most important things to you, I think is probably the best way to go about it.
No.
Yeah. You kind of touched upon material quality already. I think adding that quickly, adding that would add, especially with like quantum beacons and stuff, would add. Pair that with like exploration, being able to sell them would add that.
Yep.
Armor stats in archetypes, I think we could see that near the end of the year. At least I think they'll do that in waves rather than all at once.
Yeah.
FPS armor or ship armor are you talking about? Sorry.
FPS armor. So like the archetypes that they showed at Citizen Con of like the tracker, the heavy, those kind of things. And Squadron 42, I think we'll get a playable demo, I think, this year for once, actually.
Okay, there's a bit of a take.
We didn't touch much on Squadron other than what we said with sitcom, but that's a good point, right? Yeah. Like if Squadron truly actually is 2026 and not 2 years away, because it's no longer 2 years, which I did love everyone in the Reddit posting like, oh my god, guys, Squadron comes out next year on the 1st of the 1st of
I also
January.
love 2016 plus 10. Answer the call.
Yeah.
I also
no concept of months.
Yeah, if it's truly coming out next year, then we should expect some type of demo probably.
I also think I know what it should be is the 2017 vertical slice.
I think it should be what we saw at CitizenCon. It spoils nothing.
Yeah, the tutorial demo, yeah.
Yeah, you just play what he played.
They could also like from what they've talked about in regards to like how the game plays, it sounds like there will be a lot of non-lore relevant missions that like optional type things they could
Okay.
also like throw one of those in there. Right?
That I do believe the 2017 demo was a
It like
side
was one of
mission.
those missions.
Yes,
Yeah.
so that's
Gotcha.
why I said it, because you wake up on the Idris, you go through, you get FaceTime with Mark Hamill, you launch into space, do space combat, you go down to atmosphere, you do atmosphere combat, then you land on the ground and do some FPS stuff. So it shows just kind
Covers
of
it all.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a little puzzly moments as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty normal as well for the games industry to do demos like that, where it's like, hey, you get to learn what the game is about first. Sorry, you get to learn how to play the game first, and then we're gonna throw you into just something that would happen 20 hours into the game, so that you get an idea of what the actual majority of the gameplay is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Beyond that, I think Chris's playability focus in stability focus. Well, it's obviously we'll see it when we see it.
They say it every year.
I do think the focus will mainly be getting Star Citizen ready for Squadron's release, so it's in a decent place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then,
they've got an interesting like they should have always had a sort of finish line to go for. Not finish line, that's not the word I'm trying to think. Deadline, sorry, to go for. But now they kind of actually have a real deadline of like, you know for a fact that the second Squadron finishes, people will buy Star Citizen and play. The game has to be ready at that point for those players.
Yeah, it's not just making sure Squadron is perfect. There's
Exactly,
other priorities as well.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Another just quick thing is, I think if they keep improving server meshing by the end of the year, planet sizes could be increased. I know they kind of, I think, want to do that. Get bigger planets in. And my true copium prediction is Jax Mcleary in game for IAE 2955.
I'd love it. I'd love it. But based on what they did last year, I feel like they'll probably. I think what you're saying will happen eventually. I don't think it'll be this year. I think we're going to probably continue with like some more random videos if we even get that this year with Jax.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a quick rundown of what I have. So I'll let somebody else get in.
Perfect. Thank you. And
Easy. We appreciate the call.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Always have.
All right, man.
Oh yeah.
Be good.
Catch him up.
Yeah.
All right. So that was. Oh, he's already out. Perfect. And then JtheMitch, you're up next. Jay, can
Hello
you hear us?
there.
Hello.
Yeah.
Jay, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. You guys good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing
Cool.
right. My foot hurts, but other than that.
Yeah, no. So I'm cautiously optimistic, really, about this year. I think with Pyro, obviously, them getting that in is massive because we've had same 4 planets, 12 moons for like how many years? So yeah. With the increase, the server performance just getting way better, and the AI, the missions, like just everything, even just from a sandbox perspective, just being able to just go somewhere new with your org and do stuff, which is, I think, why they are focusing on stability this year, just because the amount of times we've had to sort of call it off, even just near Christmas, because of all the issues, is a bit disappointing. So I think, I think that's majorly what they're going to be looking at.
Yeah, man. When we were in 4.0, the early couple days, it was so fun. It's like it was.
Yeah, we were praising the crap out of the 4.0 release on that ATC because it was like 48 hours after launch.
Yeah, and it was like, we'll see, and we saw.
Yeah, I mean, I think as well, engineering, I think they'll have to get that in. Obviously, they've changed the SEM, or the flight thing, so they'll have to get that sorted before they can really implement it properly. But I think they sort of need that in, to be honest. I think before Squadron, because it's quite a big thing, especially with the team play and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Base building, I don't think is going to make it. I think if it does, it'll be like sort of quite a small one, like a little base building truck or something. I don't really think they're going to go too hard on it, just because of how many sort of things are.
I hope it's the demo with the Montreal guy. Basically, it was a small base.
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll really get much more than that. I think in terms of this year, sort of reputation as well, I hope they sort of interconnect that a bit better, especially with like Pyro.
Yeah, that's a
I'm
big
not.
one we didn't mention. We
Yeah,
have our like first real right now we have our first real like, hey, choose a faction, which
yeah,
is Headhunters or Citizens for Prosperity. It's not incredibly deep yet,
No.
but it's there, and like more of that is a thing that they've wanted to put into the game for years.
yeah. So I feel like your choices sort of matter really. So like not being able to go
exactly.
places and whatever else. I
Yeah,
think.
like there are landing zones where if I go right now, I'll get shot at because it's a Headhunters.
Yeah, that's great.
Like cool. I don't like getting shot, but it is it is a cool consequence of my actions. It feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping they start adding stuff like bounty hunting 2.0 because that's something I'm personally like really looking forward to.
Mhm.
As well as the
True.
reputation, isn't it? I can't remember if it was last CitizenCon. Do you know where they had all the different types of like jobs, like kidnapping? Yeah, that as well. I'm hoping that comes in, but I'm not sure to be honest. Nix, I don't think we're gonna get it just because
Aw.
they still need to sort of fill Pyro out with all the solar flares and environmental stuff. But
True. Is Pyro
think-
even really that done yet? Is a good point.
yeah, it just doesn't feel
I will
all that
say-
dangerous.
I think solar flares are going to come with the first Q patch. As I mentioned a few times, I imagine the reason that they removed it from Pyro is because they were reworking it to work with engineering, whereas previously it was just the equivalent of an EMP burst.
What about meshing? That too.
Possibly
Across the
because of
servers.
meshing too. Yeah, that's fair. And so I don't think that's necessarily going to require too much work this year. Is sort of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
After engineering and the emissions come, I don't think there's a ton of stuff that they need to do in Pyro that they don't also need to do in other locations, like Pyro specific things. So if in that aspect, I think it'll pretty much be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think the main thing I hope they get in this year is just engineering, sort of fire, all that sort of thing. Because I think, yeah, it'll leave them in a pretty good spot for next year.
Okay. Anything else, or is that it?
No, that's about it. I think
Yeah.
I don't think armor's coming anytime soon, to be honest. Not that I can
No.
see. So yeah, that's everything. Cheers, guys.
All right, cool. Well, hopefully we have some surprises. All the people like myself and Croncy and everybody so far that's like, I don't think this thing is going to come. I think we all know there's still a chance that maybe it does. So
Yeah,
hopefully there's
that'd be nice.
surprises for all of us.
Yeah. No, we'll be wrong about something, surely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Most likely everything. Let's be honest.
I'd rather expect nothing
Everything
than
we said
expect
is
everything.
coming isn't coming. Everything we said isn't coming is coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll probably be all completely wrong, but hopefully it's a fun year. That's really all it comes down to.
Yeah, exactly. Cheers,
All right,
guys.
Mitch. Be good, man.
Cheers. Catch up.
All right. And then we got Lightsmith coming up next. Lightsmith, can you hear us?
Lightsmith, how you doing?
Yos.
What's up?
Howdy.
I've done this twice.
It's going pretty good. 4.0 is as stable as it can be, so I'm having some fun there.
I don't know if it's
Nice.
as stable as it can be.
Yeah, I think it could be a little more
At the
stable. but-
moment.
But today was good. I mentioned that at the start
Yeah.
of stream. Today was okay-ish.
Yeah, I didn't have too much trouble today.
But my top 3 for the year, I think my number 1 for sure is crafting, just because I think it's well needed and it will help out with cargo, helps with anybody trying to do some pirating and stuff. You know, you get ingredients, you make things. It's kind of already sort of in the game. If you have a vulture or a reclaimer, we can
Yeah.
kind of do it now. So I'm really hoping for more of that.
Yeah, that's the thing. It
Um,
feels like there could be some really easy, basic implementations
Ugh,
of
dude.
Yeah.
crafting, and to the point of like, surely we get at least that this year, right?
Dude, even just the construction material or whatever salvage, like you structurally salvage a ship and ship components and little things just come out of the crafting terminal and you just pick them up. Like,
Oh,
just
that'd be
like
great.
stuff
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that would be so sick.
So good.
Yeah. It just
So yeah, I
seems
think
simple.
if we get more of that,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it just touches everything and everybody in the game, and with a little bit of it in the game already, maybe it's easier to get to. So I'm really hoping for that. And look at a lot of other survival MMO games. Like sometimes the first mission, it's like craft an axe and chop a tree. It's generally there for most of those kind of games to like do from the beginning because it's so useful throughout your whole time with that game.
Yep.
So, but the next weird thing, I don't think people have mentioned in a while, and I don't think they have either. Although they did mention mag locking again recently with all the personal hangers. I don't think we're getting base building, but they did just mention it again at SitCon like crazy when they were talking about it. They've been mentioning it again recently on Spectrum about locking things down. Everybody knows that all those pledge chairs you purchased or got through the subscriber store just wiggle all over the place. And I think if they can give us that mag lock to do in our hangers, they also mentioned quite a while ago is we're going to be able to just mag lock a pile of picos to our grid of our cuddy at some point so things don't wiggle and jiggle. You know, right now things have to be so perfectly placed and specific. And Mike, you mentioned the Star Lancer. If you've tried to put like a large ship weapon on the grid of the Star Lancer, sometimes it just like it wants to snap inside the wall of your ship or something like that because of the way things are sitting. So it's like it feels like they kind of half-assed how the grid works with things right now. And if I could just set something down and say stay,
yeah,
that
it would be
great.
nice.
I think
it would
just
be great.
change so much.
Yeah,
I wanna know probably from like really any game dev. Is it harder to make your items that are currently working with the physics engine not work with the physics engine, like deliberately not work, or is it harder to get them to work with it in the first place?
yeah.
Yeah. Is it hard to tell things to stop moving?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious.
In contested zones, they have the boxes for that weapons come in too. So there's maybe maybe that's one of the options too. Is you lock that and then you lock the gun to it if it's so complicated, right? I don't know.
Yeah, true.
Maybe that simplifies it.
Yeah, I think that's also one of those things though. It's just it'll everybody will benefit. Do you like doing stuff in your hangar? Do you like pirating people's stuff? Do you like, you know, just doing some trading and finding picos and don't want it flying around? Oh, fair warning too. Do not drop an empty med pen on someone's ship. It becomes an immovable juggernaut of an object. I learned that.
Don't fall.
It's terrifying.
Don't get force reacted on your ship. I literally blew up my own ship.
Your med pen.
I blew up my own ship today, falling in my own ship today.
Love
it. Something is going on with the physics there. Yeah, every time I get in my Nursa, it's like I weigh 1,000 pounds and I'm just slamming into the side of it.
Very weird. So there's some weird. Yeah, there's definitely something weird going on.
But a quick final mention, because they just said this at CitizenCon when they showed all the dancing dudes. They were like, and you're going to be able to wear a jacket over your armor in 4.0. And we don't have that. So I'm kind of hoping maybe we see that because that would just be fun.
I think that was another one where it's like, you're going to be able to see it past 4.0. I don't know if it was a, this is coming with 4.0 sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, in 4.x. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, I imagine that comes with whatever these armor changes are going to be. We'll see that probably.
I think we see that for sure this year, but that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping just because it's you know, with the recent insurance added to the game, lots of people are wearing lots of more colorful stuff, a lot of purple helmets and green armors and stuff, and I would like to see the clothes come in, and that also just seems like a thing since I mean, you just released you had time to make a dancing video with them doing it, so like I imagine you have it kind of far along. We might be able to see it soon. But yeah, that's my 2025. Let me see it.
Awesome.
We're kicking you out because you just called duping insurance. See you later. Bye.
Catch you, Lightsmith.
Catch you, Lightsmith, next time.
Later.
Bye now. Our next caller is WarbotNIX. Warbot, you there?
Hello. How you doing?
Hello.
Hey. I'll try and make it quick then. So my predictions. Some of it is hopium plus mixed with copium, so I don't know if that's a really healthy mix at all.
Copium. So I have a fight with this with someone. Copium can't be about future stuff, only current stuff. It's all hopium if it's future stuff.
All right.
Copium it's not so bad, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopium it's gonna be great, guys.
Yeah.
There you go.
But for the most part, I've actually had really good experience with 4.0, despite a few of the bugs here and there. And then, and overall, I think it is a good idea to focus on stability for the first quarter. So I do not expect a huge amount of changes for the first quarter in terms of like things that may punish the player, such as engineering. We may see that in quarter two. So my first prediction is engineering will go into some sort of P2 preview testing for a delayed amount of time.
Okay.
Until into quarter two. That is my first more realistic prediction.
Interesting.
Second,
So
yeah.
before you go on to your other predictions, we'll talk
Yeah,
about that
sure.
a bit. I think like because engineering was an experimental mode for what was 6 months last year or something. I feel like it got a lot further along than some people are giving it credit for. I think it is like you said, like, yeah, you want, like, realistically you think quarter two. I think it is a lot further ahead than that. I think that is your, well, sorry, it'll release quarter two because it'll be April, whatever. But
we got MFDs, we got new versions of these components, and stealth does this, and engineering and industrial does that. I think there's a lot of the pieces of the puzzle already exist.
Yeah, the mechanics are in there. The mechanics are in there. That's fine. My only worry is that because the server needs to record like item states, because we're putting fire, we're putting this sort of additional data into it. So I think stability is going to. I think they need to fix a lot of some of the background stuff, as well as get the transit and the mission stuff.
Oh, they actually believe the Roberts letter, where things are going to be stable, where in reality they're just going to shove as much shit into a server now that they have room as they can, and just screw it up like they always do.
Oh no, I do not think it's going to be completely stable, but at least get some foundation in there to at least, support this extra amount of data that's about to come in just from engineering, because that's constant state changing of an item or entity.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm worried about.
That's fair. I think that's an interesting, like, sort of caveat to the whole feature, really, right?
Yeah. Now, what I will think will come in a little sooner, and it's what I think you mentioned this earlier, Croncy, is the FPS stuff, and that stuff I think is perfectly fine.
You mean the pyro weapons?
The new weapons?
New weapons, the armor sets, at least like some variation of the armor set will be in AC for like balance, maybe balancing. I don't know.
I could definitely see them just doing like, hey, here's some experimental modes on AC where we're just gonna throw, hey, everyone's in a recon set, everyone's in a super heavy set, whatever.
Dude, it's exactly what they should do.
A Rainbow.
Yeah,
they should do like a Rainbow Six Siege style, like class-based combat. So
that'd be cool.
That would be fun.
That'd be interesting.
Because Mike, it is the perfect product.
Turn AC into a hero shooter.
It is the perfect product. That is true. It is the perfect product.
I love that video.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That was great. But yeah, I think definitely start with putting the new first-person shooter stuff in the AC is a great way to start getting people interested in testing, and make Arena Commander free to play. Like, just sign up and play. It's such a great onboarding.
Do you think that's something they'll do this year, though?
I don't know. It's
because I do agree. I think AC being free to play would actually be sick, and feels like it would be such a good recruiting tool. Billy hears about Star Citizen for the first time, but can only play Arena Commander. All right, cool. Well, now you liked it. Cool. Now go play the PU, whatever.
Yeah. Or at least, but it won't happen because that team is not working on Arena Commander. They're working on everything but Arena Commander, sadly.
No. Or the marketing brain in me right now is that Arena Commander becomes the free-to-play multiplayer platform for Squadron 42.
I don't even know what you mean by that.
Yeah, I'm a little confused what you're...
So, like how Space Marines, it's mostly a single-player game, but they added a multiplayer, like, section of it. They can make Arena Commander free-to-play, sort of like a marketing package. So, like, people who bought Squadron 42 can also have access to Arena Commander.
yeah, you don't own Star Citizen, but you do own Squadron. Well, here you go. You can essentially play multiplayer Squadron, but it's just Arena
Yeah.
Commander.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool way of doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then my last.
Oh, sorry. I
and
will also just say that when you were saying like, yeah, do the weapons
Mhm.
and armor in Arena Commander, there is proof of them doing that in the past. They did it with the P6AR, right? So
okay.
cool.
P8
Continue
as
to do
well.
that.
Yep. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah,
and
Oh, sorry. Yeah, P8AR is what you meant.
P8AR.
Yeah, yeah.
P8AR. Yeah.
Yep. And then as a sort of, I'd say Q3 or late Q2 would be the new harvestables and materials. So we'll
Mhm.
probably get a dynamic event of monster hunting with the sandworm just to get those in once the FPS stuff is in.
Mhm.
Um, and then that will begin the basic functions of crafting. We won't probably get the scale that they talked about in CitizenCon, but I would love to see at least the materials fleshed out. We'll starting to be broken down to their categories,
Yeah.
and then we can start building our basic houses, and the UI for that is supported. In terms of industrialization, no chance.
No.
Yeah. I think
Um,
everyone sort of agreed that like we will see some level of crafting this year.
yeah.
Question to both of you, Mike and Warbot. Do you think we will see the tier system implemented at all? Because the way that my brain's sort of seeing is we'll just get like the quality, the material qualities, and that's like it. And then we've got base level crafting across a couple of things.
Yeah, and you'll go within that range of tier 1.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean,
That's
they're
what I
going to
think.
have to
That's what I
test
think.
what an upgrade blueprints works like, but
Yeah, I don't see any signs of the blueprint system coming in anytime soon. We may have you know, base blueprint foundation level recipes, but
Yeah.
we may even see here you've discovered the tweaker version of this compensator one, but I don't see a tier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's my best guess. Now, if they do the tier system, I'm all for it.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
will abandon many games this year, basically just crafting away.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, I'm having a hard time figuring out what other big ticket items they can do. Although, oh yeah, Nick system. I I think it's doable, but before end of year, I think it's doable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I'm
Yeah.
starting to after Mike told me that thing, I'm starting to believe myself less.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't make it this year, I don't think it could be that far off. Like
hmm
it's just it does not feel like as monumental a task as like half of Pyro, you know?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
Pyro's so big.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we do see an update to Planet Tech before June, then yes, I would probably be more solidified that Nyx or another star system can be doable, at least in a preview sort of state before the end of the year.
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah,
Okay.
those are all my predictions thus far. I have a lot more, but I don't want to drag it out much further. But yeah, but I am excited for a lot of these little features, and hopefully at least a new foundation of code to just at least put it into a somewhat stable position.
Yeah.
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 Hopefully this
Also-
year, stability.
Mhm.
Which
Yeah.
you're kind of one of the first people to really mention that. Of all things we get, hopefully it's
Yeah.
stability.
At least some base level of stability to be at least keep it there.
Correct.
Now that you have this new you have this new foundation that's called server meshing. Just try to smooth it out for the first quarter, get that going.
Yep.
Also Redeemer, the Redeemer is actually really good. I've been flying it all 4.0.
But it got a gun downgrade. It can't be good. You don't understand, Warbot.
I know, but the thing is, though, it is probably I don't know how, but what they did with the maneuverability made it my daily driver. I actually gave up the
Oh,
Guardian
damn.
for it. Because 2 SCU perfect for bunker rating, weapon racks up top. We're not going to mention the other thing, exploit. Then also plenty of room for friends, and also the shields were actually doing a very good job attacking the attacking like ships
Turrets?
that are equal to or smaller, and turrets,
Yeah.
and 2 size 4, 2 size 3s, and plenty of I mean, yeah, when friends get into size 4s, in the turrets, they do pretty well actually. I'm actually not completely disappointed by
Okay.
what they did. So it's
I'd like to
very
see it in
comfortable to
the
fly too.
contested zone as a reward. Seems like a ship
Oh
that would
yeah,
fit there.
Yeah. that'd
it
be a
has
good one.
so many hard points. You can fit so many weapons on that thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's not going to get a size 5, but size 4s are still pretty scary.
Can you pull
Yeah.
components out of it though, outside of the Moby glass? I don't think so.
That no.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. Like, I have noticed that like in order to go full shield, you have to give up power to every other component. Which is another thing too, which confuses the heck out of me. So they definitely need to rework that back engineering area to fit all of the stuff. And something needs to be done with the power plant. Because
Yeah,
even if you
a
put a
bigger
grade
power
A
plant.
military in there, even if you put a grade A military power plant, it's not enough power to power every, get enough power juice to the shields while still having like decent amount of power in the guns. So that's why I've kept ballistics on all the turrets and the rear turret, but only and then lasers for anything that's pilot controlled.
Mm.
So yeah, so it is still a fun ship. I love it. Like
Okay.
it is the maneuverability again. It's still great.
I'm gonna try
So-
it then. We'll leave it there, but I'm gonna rent it or buy it. I don't think you can rent it, but I'm gonna buy it in game and I'm gonna try it. Now that you said it, because I've always loved it.
It's a great bunker. It's a great bunker running as well as like support ship.
Okay.
Great for taking on MRTs and lower. I haven't gotten to like the higher tiers yet, so I don't know about that yet.
I got to imagine it's pretty decent for
Yeah.
HRTs and VHRTs.
Especially
Yeah.
with the group.
Yeah. I did try the attritions. I don't know why I can't get used to attritions, so I just put the rhinos and the panthers back.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right.
All right,
then.
Warbot.
Well,
Have a good one. Thank you so much
take
for the
care,
call, and yeah, we'll catch you.
Never go up.
Bye.
Bye bye now. Warbot's been a pretty regular caller over the years. So.
Yep.
Do you want to bring in before Samurai? Hello, but before we get to you, one person joined the green room. Do we want to bring them in, or do we want to end on Gumbo here? Because it'll put us right a little over 2 hours.
I am good to go
right.
to keep
Testa,
going. So.
Testa, last caller.
Cool.
No matter what.
Samurai, how you doing?
Samurai, what's up?
How are you? This is my first time on any podcast at all.
Whoa.
Welcome in.
So I'm glad I did. I made the leap of faith, I guess. Small one, nevertheless. So my predictions, honestly, number one, just I'm not aware about the MISC Expanse. Is it the refining ship?
The Expanses, yeah.
Yes.
So I assume that the MISC Fortune is one of two. It's either a single one, basically a flying shop, or seeing how the Atlas thing went, I think it's a crafting ship. So it's one of these two, I'm guessing.
It does have a either salvage or mining laser on it, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, on the front, it's almost certainly salvaging, just because it would be weird for MISC to release the. Actually, no, Mike, I know what it is. It's not
the Prospector
the,
DS.
Oh, I was gonna say Prospector Mark II, but
Yeah, Prospector DS.
same joke. Yeah, no, it's at the very least we know it is like a Prospector like parallel ship, and it certainly seems to be salvaging. Now the question is like, how much of a rework does that hull get? Right, like is it going to be like the Prospector interior is basically a bed and the cockpit. Is it going to be like some sort of variation on that? Are we going to be looking at like a tractor beam on the back or something? Are we looking at external cargo, internal cargo? What's the rest of this thing? But it certainly seems to be more that way.
Exactly. I was hoping for a shop, honestly. I would love to see like a mini Banyu merchantman, like some sort of that ship in that line. My second
you don't
prediction,
want it yet, though. You want them to figure out crafting, how we interact with shops, how we trade with each other, and then design the ship so it's perfect, right? So I want it too, but let's let them figure it out first.
100%, I agree. So my second prediction is maybe the ROC-DS will have 2 mining lasers. Maybe.
That's right. They
wait,
talked
they
about.
told us what it was going to be.
Well, they just said.
I think
that
my predictions are so late.
It's okay.
I think they said that they wanted the atmosphere to be in the extra seat.
Yeah,
Like,
it'll
as
be
in, like,
covered.
enclosed or whatever.
It's covered.
Yeah.
The whole thing's covered. Both
But
pilots.
do they do anything else to it?
And then they said something else, but I can't remember what it was. I don't remember what it was, but it was. We're gonna cover the thing. I'll find it. I'll find it. You guys
Okay,
talk amongst yourselves. I'll find it.
I really hope that the ROC-DS would have 2 mining lasers, because it was pretty useless having a co-pilot with you. Yeah, like, why have 2 people do the same thing, right? It was really dumb, honestly. So I'm hoping that they have 2 tools here there. And
Yeah,
as
it's
another
a weird vehicle.
yeah, so another like hope, I think it's hopium prediction, is that they would have a market intelligence, right? Marketplace, right? Like an intelligence marketplace, like selling locations, or whether in data cards or not, I really don't care. But I think that's a gameplay that's really needed.
Yes, I was going to ask, do you mean as in, like, when I go into the game and I want to know the best place to buy, sell XYZ, the game actually gives me that data when I'm in game?
I think it would be
Know what I mean?
like, I don't want to make it really restrictive. Maybe more of a general intelligence marketplace, more flexible. So an Intrepid could sell the location of, let's say, a resource. Maybe they could sell the current state. Of
You're talking about like data running.
Yes, I think so.
Right.
Yeah. So I think we need a marketplace. Maybe, hopefully, it's something easy to implement. It's like not any graphics programming. It's more on the line of the new UIs that they're trying to produce. Yeah, I think it's very essential.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I tell you what, that is an extension of. That's essentially an extension of what the party system would be, or like the looking for mission, right? The thing that they posted where it was like, these people are grouping up to do this mission, whatever. You could within that system have, hey, I am selling great location for Quantanium, someone come get it, and then you could just do it through that way. I do think that base system will be in. If it gets any more complex than that, probably not this year. But there will be like there'll be a way to do what you are saying, I think, by the end of the year.
Hopefully, and I would definitely like them to start simple, right? Starting like with a complex system is always wrong, honestly, in my opinion. Starting simple and making a simple system that works, and then moving to a complex system that works is always the way to go, in my belief. And my last prediction is, I think we'll see very few, let's say, new gameplay other than the one maybe before CitizenCon. And the only thing we're going to see until then is pretty much stability, the new UIs, party systems, things that can be relatively light to work with. I think everything else is still going to be pretty experimental the rest of the year, honestly.
So with that in mind, do you think we won't see engineering till CitizenCon then?
Honestly, I don't think we'll see engineering. Honestly, I don't know why, but I'm just super pessimistic about, unless it's going to be very buggy. I don't know. But I think there's a lot of things that they need to clean up in the background, I think. And just as a last thing, I really wanted to be on this call for like several weeks ago. I just want to propose to Croncy and Mike, maybe you can give a. I love that you guys have mentioned a lot that Star Citizen can learn from different games, right? And I think there is an opportunity to learn. I'm not saying like this is a great solution, but there is something valuable we can learn from potion craft, especially in research and development and science gameplay. I would love to see you guys give it a look.
Okay.
It's the gist of it.
I know what game you're talking about.
Yeah,
exactly. So the gist of it is how I see it. There's certain, let's say, levers that produce an infinite amount of gameplay. It's so smart. How I envision it is people might actually, let's say, I want to produce a certain blueprint for, let's say, stale or something. It
Yep.
would be nice that the value chain would start with the science gameplay and they like go research this blueprint, and possibly even with time they can research med pens and someone can actually make a better blueprint for the same product, still med pens, but let's say the new blueprint uses less material or some sort. I saw a lot of things when I saw Potion Craft. I would love
Yeah.
for you guys and and your two communities to have a great discussion around it. I know that Spectrum wasn't helpful, honestly.
Yeah.
So
Surprise,
really,
surprise.
Yeah.
yeah, it's either their way or the highway. I even tried to make it pretty light and friendly and just a discussion,
No,
talk
no.
about things. Didn't work out that way,
Nope.
honestly.
Go there
The
if
problem
you,
is-
if you
Exactly.
like abuse.
Yeah, the problem is you logged into Spectrum. That was
Yeah.
mistake one.
I guess you're right. Yeah. Thank you for the time, guys. Thank you. I hope I didn't take a lot.
No.
And thank you for having
Yeah,
me.
you're all good.
All right, Samurai, be
Yeah,
good,
no,
man.
cheers. Have a good one.
Just for quick reference, it was just the seats. So they said we want to either we want to enclose both of them, but we don't know if it'll be side to side or like the Corsair front to back. That was all that was said.
Make it like a what are those like motorbikes that have like the little like ride along thing next to it, just like fully attached.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Make it that. It'd be great.
Yeah. All right. Who is next? We got certified Gumbo
Certified
next.
Gumbo. Gumbo, how you doing?
Welcome
going
back, Gumbo.
on?
How we doing?
Yeah, good,
Howdy,
good.
howdy.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you both.
Yeah, you too.
And to you.
Had a chat. Okay, so I want to try to get through this pretty quickly, but I don't know if you saw in the chat I said I had some hot takes.
Oh no, I didn't see that. Okay, here we go. I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Buckle up. I don't think they're that hot, but okay, so to me, looking at it from CIG's perspective, from a marketing standpoint, like I think 25 and 26 are all about getting Star Citizen ready for Squadron 42's release. Because if they're actually going to release Squadron in 26, like this whole conversation around stability is making sure that the game is ready for the influx of players that will inevitably come with Squadron. Because based on the demo that they showcased at CitizenCon, like it looks really good. Like if they can minimize bugs to be as non-game breaking as possible, I'd imagine there are going to be some issues at launch, but as long as they don't like have any type of like game breaking issues, it's going to get a lot of eyes, and I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy that game, and they're going to want to hop into Star Citizen.
I would agree
And
100% with you, but I don't entirely. And Croncy mentioned this earlier as well, but the Squadron is 100% Chris Roberts' baby. Right now, at least. And he is definitely giving up control of what Star Citizen is to other people now.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. Like Rich, and he's giving up a little bit. And that is the focus of Star Citizen to be ready for Squadron 42. But is that the focus of the company to be ready for Squadron 42 is what remains to be seen. How ready will it be is what I think. Because I still think Chris is going to be 100% focused on the release of Squadron 42. Look at CitizenCon. Look at the devs having to work the extra hours, things like that. That was not to get 4.0 ready. That was to get the Squadron demo ready.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
the big thing as well is like you mentioned specifically stability. The big thing is going to be when that like obviously stability is going to matter. The main complaint I've had from friends ever trying to play the game, literally ever, was always like, bug XYZ, server crash, blah blah blah. The other problem is going to be something that a lot of us that actually play regularly know, which is there aren't a lot of features in the game, or at least the features aren't in a configuration that really actually want to make people play for long periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
That is the second thing that they need to make sure happens on a Squadron 42 release, because otherwise you will not you will get those players based on stability, and they will play for a day. In order to retain those players for 1.0 to come out and to continue hyping it up, the game needs to be in a more fun state. So I am agreeing with you. I'm saying that there is extra stuff for them to do in order to get it into that good spot.
Yeah, and so let me preface that by saying, like, I don't think that feature-wise 1.0 cards, all that, like, I'm not saying that it's going to be like a 1.0 type of candidate, but I think that the stability overall in what we have will be much, or their goal is to make it much improved and pretty on par with
the number one priority, basically.
Yeah, like the play experience of Squadron 42 and Star Citizen need to be closer than where they are now. Like the Squadron 42 playthrough, the jank and the crash happened live on stage. We all saw that, but like that experience of going, that gameplay experience looked a whole hell of a lot better than what we have in the PU currently. And I think that they want to get the PU to that point in alignment with Squadron 42 release, because one, I think that the Squadron 42, I would target, if I were them, Invictus of 2026, because it just makes sense. Like from a marketing standpoint, you can market both games, kill two birds with one stone, and you can sell their big ships and the game. Like it it would be crazy not to release it for Invictus 2026.
I would say I hope they don't, just because if you look at past stability of Star Citizen, Invictus is always worse than IAE. For whatever reason, the patches are just always worse. So please no.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that. It's just from a marketing standpoint, I do believe that that's going to be the target. Like from a player standpoint, that seems ridiculous just because of the experience that we've had for forever. But I think marketing wise, that's what they want to do because it aligns. But okay, but on the Squadron, on the PU side of things, like the letter from the chairman, things that Rich and CR have been saying lead me to believe we're going to see a change in how testing goes this year. Like, I think the introduction of the pre-queue channel is an interesting direction. I wouldn't be surprised if like they move away from the 4-quarter release cadence and just go to having feature release patches and then content patches in between the feature releases. Like, so i.e. crafting and base building are the two major features for, I think, 2025. I think that we get crafting and base building in the PTU maybe in the first 6 months, but it's going to sit there in that feature build until it's ready to go. Meanwhile, they can put content in other PTU branches and then just release it, like the sandworm. Like that doesn't need to. We don't need crafting for that. Like stuff like that, like the social features, things. The remaining 4.0 cards that got pulled out, I think a priority is going to have those implemented within the first half of the year. And they don't need crafting and base building like that. Those can sit in parallel. And so they can continue to release content, improve stability, move to dynamic server meshing, all that type of stuff. That can still happen. And then when crafting, I think they will iterate. I think we'll see phases of it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see everything but vehicles and ships in craftable in game by the end of the year. And then maybe the smaller bases, along with it. But I don't see like the big industrial things. But I think like the little grav cart, the little push cart thing, I could see that being ready. And then small and medium structures, like personal structures, because that's a good test bed for like, all right, how many resources do you need? How time intensive is this? Like, how do we need to scale this up for like the larger scale structures? Like, it's a good kind of test bed to see like how does that change like the economy? Because to me, crafting and base building gives them a lot of freedom to kind of develop, because that's a sandbox thing that players can just do while CIG continues to develop everything else that they want to put into the game.
It is, but it's a end game development thing, as in like you can't even start developing that sort of stuff until you know what your game looks like, because otherwise, like where does crafting and whatnot fit in within the main features of the game?
Yeah, but that would be what a real
yeah.
studio would do. If they
Yeah.
if they did that, they wouldn't be designing ships before the gameplay exists, but they do that.
Fair.
I don't.
but what
I
I will
don't
say
see
that-
the. I just don't see. I don't see the fee. I agree with you on it's in-game content, but in the meantime, I
end-game
think
content,
it's just
end-game development. Like it's a similar to how everyone's always talking about how the Endeavor won't ever come out until like literally every feature in the game is made. Crafting and base building is in a similar, well, obviously not as far as that, but in a similar sort of thing where it's like, well, you need to know what the game actually is before you can figure out what you're crafting and why. And like it doesn't change a lot about what you're saying. It's just like a little caveat that I need to make. We
No,
do need
for
to finish
sure.
your call soon. I did just want to quickly say as well, though, this what you were saying at the start about like them putting like base building and crafting in the new EPTU. That's what I'm gonna start calling it. Makes a lot of sense.
Parallel test environment.
Exactly. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. That is probably, other than kind of like we were saying, maybe we'll see engineering in there first. That's probably going to be the main feature that is designed for, because it is also going to be a feature that will require tons and tons of balancing. And that's going to change every patch this year, pretty much. We know. So
yeah.
I agree. I just want to add that I think that there is a level of persistence that they need to test as well, and I think that that's why they'll get it into the preview channel by the end of the year probably, and let it sit there even further. And then I guess my last point is that I think that Squadron 42 demo, the one that they played on stage, will be released at Invictus along with a pre-order for Squadron 42.
Hopefully.
That's my last.
I don't think they can pre-order until they're pretty sure, or they get in some trouble now.
I don't see them releasing a demo without a pre-order, or and vice versa.
Yeah. Okay.
Something playable.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, that's it. Appreciate the time.
And of course, Gumbo. We'll catch you
cheers for
soon.
calling in.
All right. Cheers.
Later, dude.
Have a good one.
Bye now. All right, and our last and final call is Testatastic. Testa, what's up, dude?
How you doing, Testa?
Go on ahead. Make sure I'm on speaker. I think it's good. How's it going, guys?
Good. What do you want to
Lovely.
chat about?
I'm thinking what we're gonna see, because I haven't heard a whole lot. Definitely some more AI creatures. I think we're gonna get the little sandworm babies in caves, and then the main sandworm. I think that's definitely coming.
Yeah, I didn't even think about them.
Yeah, I think you get the babies with the big one.
I'm also thinking it's going to be our Q3, Q4 overdrive event. I'm thinking it's going to tie some systems together. Because you can tie in hopefully, I really want that this year, the party and social features like Org 2.0, LFG groups.
Would be nice.
Those can tie in together. Yeah. And then obviously I do also think we're going to get crafty, but possibly just be small scale, like FPS weapons, and maybe the equivalent of Scorcher or Tweaker mods. We'll be able to craft those.
Dude, anything would make me happy, but I really do hope we get it big time.
Yeah. I definitely want to see the Pyro crab. I know that's probably later, because that's probably a much more complex creature that they want to do later.
Maybe, but it's one that they've also been working on for like a while. Like it was supposed to be the first Fauna being worked on originally.
Yeah.
So it's probably got some weight behind it.
Yeah. What else? I think engineering might get delayed until like Q2 or Q3. I think there's a lot of ships they got to go over and do, and I think right now their main focus is getting 4.0 stable. I think Q1's going to be not big feature. It's just going to be a lot of the stuff they said was going to be in the initial release. That'll just be a lot slower, which is fine. It needs to.
My thing with it,
4.0
because I've heard that from a few people of like, engineering will get pushed back because of how many ships they've done. They've already done so much of that work though. Like so many ships already have places for their fuses and whatnot. Any ship that's come out in the last 2 years has like the pre-thought of these sort of things. And they had 8 months last year to do that sort of stuff, that they were saying that they were doing that as well as part of it as they were testing engineering. So I really just like, obviously there is a lot of people that think it's a lot further away. I don't think it is. I think it's a lot closer.
It could be. I would love to be wrong. It's just there's still a lot of ships in the backlog. You can't reach their components. So how is that going to work? How am I going to repair those?
Just give me an example of a ship that you're talking about,
Aurora.
because I think there's also a big misconception for a lot of people.
Aurora.
Where are the modules on the Aurora?
They don't exist
At all?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe just tough.
And then also the
Avenger.
Yeah.
honestly, for those sort of ones, it literally may just be tough. Like a lot of as long as it's a lot of single-seater ones, the issue may just be that they overcome it by just not repairing the modules. You just repair the ship. Small ships like that, it's not going to be as relevant. But I don't know. We'll see.
The ship's naming like a lot of ships, or the chat is naming a lot of ships.
Yeah, definitely Cutlass is one of them as well. Redeemer.
Most single-seater ships outside of the ones that got a gold standard rework. So,
but maybe they have been working on those, so we just don't have those in the 4.0 build yet. I don't know.
They would tell us if they were, so doubt.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully, making a good point there, buddy. You are.
But that's it for me. I think I just kind of just like speed ran through because I know you guys want to end the call soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna pee my pants in a moment.
Yeah.
Drank this whole giant jug throughout this thing. So yeah, but all right, yeah, I guess we'll leave it there. But thank you, and yeah, you're making me think maybe it's further away than I thought. I really want it to be Q1 though.
Me too. It's definitely going to be fun. It's definitely going to be. I can't wait for the drama because there's going to be people like I'm so used to soloing my constellation, and now it catches on fire. Not super often, but
it's already happening.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've been waiting for the drama. They announced engineering like 2 years ago, and it's been nonstop.
Engineering,
yeah, that's for the people on
it's like
Spectrum
it doesn't
now.
even exist.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the drama's always different when it's in their hands.
Exactly.
Like
there's the pre-drama, and then there's the actual.
Yeah.
All right, Testa, we'll let you go though, dude.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Catch you,
mate.
Bye now. All right, that's where we leave it. Good show. That was fun. Prediction
I love
show was fun. We want. Me too.
It's usually our like only show where it's like 100% hopium. Which is great. I love
and
it.
guessing and just talking
And
shit. Like
that's
nothing
hopium,
without knowing anything is good.
Yeah.
It
In
was
fact,
good
CJ,
to, like,
stop talking to us. Give us no communication. Just release stuff randomly. Let's go.
Let me tell you something. That's what they did early on, and it worked for them. So, yeah. So it might work.
If I was to summarize what like everyone mostly said though, obviously stability is like a big concern for a lot of people this year. And so yeah, that's going to be the big prediction. More stability, more bug fixes, and finally settling on like a primary build, you know.
I'm going to add one. I want to choose a server, no matter if it's full or not. I will sit in a queue.
Oh, yeah. Which they mentioned at some point last year. I don't remember when.
Yeah.
But they
Years
mentioned
ago.
that they wanted that to be a thing.
Yeah. I will sit in a queue to get in a server with my friends. Please let me do that.
Yep.
Thank you. And that's where we will leave. That's where we'll leave it. I don't know if they'll ever do a shard list and say how many people are playing, because I think it would expose
server browser.
Yeah, it would expose how many people are actually playing, and yeah. So they won't do that, but I think if I could see that a friend is on server 90, I will wait in a queue to get into it if it's full.
I will say, actually, because you did bring up a good point. When I went through today, I went through all my friends just to see, like, you know, general server counts. Based on that, way more people playing the game daily than I thought.
Maybe. Yeah, there's this weird situation where no servers are full. and some servers have like like they're no longer allowing people in them, and then they're like filtering them. It's something's weird going on, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So it's like some servers have 100, some servers have 80, some servers have 550, but yeah, I mean, there's a few thousand people on it at all times easily.
Yeah, exactly.
At
But that's
a
what I'm saying.
minimum.
That's way more than I thought.
Yeah, at a minimum, which that's about where I thought it would be. So
Yep.
everyone thinks there's like 30,000 people playing daily, and it's like,
Oh, no,
man,
yeah, that's
those are real games.
See, I thought there was like 700 people playing daily. I thought the
In
count was
Evo,
way
yes.
lower.
In live, it changes for sure. That's why they say they need to scale it up for live, like to go to the scale for live. It really is true. And this isn't even live. Some people might be waiting for actual live. Never know.
I think you'll find actually the only people who play Star Citizen is everyone watching the podcast right now, either here on Twitch or on YouTube. And if you're over here on Twitch, make sure to follow Mike or myself, so you can watch us do Star Citizen stuff. If you're ever on YouTube, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe so you can get and hit the little bell so you can get notified every time we go live and every time the podcast goes up. I transitioned so well into that.
That was very good. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Awkward pause on purpose. There we go. I had to make it awkward just so the transition didn't work. All right, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where we'll leave the show, though. So remember to leave a like and all that stuff. But also, don't forget. Are you ready?
To answer the call 2025.
Let's go.